Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook Library, a sanctuary of stories where fan fictions come alive, where ancient legends echo from the East and Western worlds awaken with wonder. Settle in. Your journey begins now.
Reborn in Originals. Chapter 51 Timeskip. Sage meets the Mikaelsons' Ketsia. What a pleasant surprise. Amara. Ketsia smiled when she saw how shaky Amara was when she saw her and was proud of her action. Ketsia. I see. You managed to keep your sanity to this point and didn't rush to attack them the very moment you saw me. I'm impressed. Amara, having enough of Ketsia looking down on her, made everything she went through from the pain and torment she felt every waking second of the day ever since she became an anchor to the other side, rushing back at her. With that, she stood up and rushed at Ketsia but was sent flying instead. Ketsia. I will take back what I said earlier. You are completely nuts and just too good at hiding it, Ketsia said as she looked at the bleeding Amara, who happens to be healing also, before she turned to Viktor. Ketsia. What do you intend to do with her? Viktor. Well, I just wanted to give her a proposal. You see, she has served her punishment for far too long and I think it will be better of relieving her of her suffering by moving the anchor to something else. It is painful to living beings when someone passes through them, and I will say it again. She has suffered from your wrath for far too long. Ketsia. Sigh. Whatever, but you must put her into the prison world after you are done. She is still not forgiven for what she did to me, and I know my method before was cruel, but if I had the same choice back then, I would have still went with it. Viktor. Well, good thing you are letting go of your grudge. That's a good start. Also, you should probably go back to your student. She is trying to run away again, Viktor said as he could hear Malia trying to sneak out of the window. Ketsia. Oh no, she won't. Ketsia immediately went back to the room she was using to teach Malia. Viktor. Now back to you. You will have to be of your best behavior so that your punishment may lessen, and maybe, just maybe, I can help you reunite with your lover, but now you will have to stay in the prison world until I gather the materials needed for the anchor transference spell, Viktor said as he snapped his finger and Amara disappeared into the prison world. Viktor. Well, you guys have done well and I am very pleased with your result, and before I forget, take this. I know you have been dying to get your hands on it, Andre, but for the love of God, don't use it on her, Viktor said as he threw 2 daggers at Lexi and Andre before telling Katerina to tell them how to be able to use it, and left. Elsewhere. Are you sure with this? I can be able to get the old ones to side with me. Sage. Yes, father, I am sure of that. That weapon is the only known weakness of the old ones, and they will be desperately looking for a way to eliminate any threat to them by destroying the dagger, and since you have one, you can be able to win their trust. But I can't leave the dark dimension now, as that will alert those pesky celestial court, and I don't want that now. Sage. Well, you can send it to them through me. I was actually on my way to them before you summoned me. That's right. Have they not suspected anything about what we are planning, and how do you manage to evade them when coming to meet up with me without them noticing? Sage just smiled at her father and stretched her hand for the dagger. The man who happened to be the father of Sage, making him the devil sigh as he knew his daughter would not let anyone on her secret. The devil. Well, just do whatever will make the old ones come to our side, as they will be a crucial ally to battle against the celestial court and make them pay for what they did to your mother, the devil said as his eyes turned cold when he thought of what those hypocrites did to his beloved when he just wanted a peaceful life on the mortal plane after his banishment from the celestial court. Sage. I will, father, I will make sure of that, Sage said as she brought out her wings and flew away and back to the mortal plane. New Orleans, 1919. Throughout the years, Viktor has done a lot of things. First, he looked for the world's hardest material, which was the graphene. He bound it to him and used an extremely powerful spell from his omniversal codex of magic and created a special realm which can only be accessible to the supernatural beings that dies as a passageway to go to the other side, as he placed the new anchor there and also upgraded the other side as it removes the fragile weakness of stupid witches resurrecting someone easily, and only a witch with the Mikaelson blood and Bennett due to Ketsia and that with limitations can be able to resurrect someone easily from the other side. He also made it that the spirits there cannot have any influence on the land of the living unless evoked by someone. After he did that, he tossed Amara back to the prison world. Due to the fact of doing so much big spells, it put a strain on Viktor, but fortunately, he heals fast. After a few months of rest, He made Nadia an enhanced original vampire as that was what she wished for, but she was still not close to the level of the ones they themselves turned. He was getting bored of everything now and wished for the plot to start, as everything he wanted to do has already been done, well except for Malachi, which he could just create a clone to give him his blood when he is born, and then the heretics can destroy the Gemini Coven. So he was thinking of having Malia dagger him and giving the other dagger to Freya, as she was the only one who he could trust to not dagger the rest of their siblings. Viktor was not worried about the plot changing, as he knew that the only way for things to change is when someone knows about what would happen and decides to change it, and the only people who knows that is him and Malia, who would not do anything to change the plot. But what was bothering him was the Vampire Diaries plot and not the originals, as he has made major changes due to him changing the history of the May casts. Well, whatever, if the TVD plot did not go as intended and got screwed, he will have the originals, as one way or another Haley and Niklaus are going to have a baby. That's what he knows. As Viktor was in his thoughts, Malia vamp speed into his room as she has something to say to him. Malia, Dad, someone that looks exactly like Scarlett Johansson with the same features as when she played as Black Widow in the Avengers, is currently outside. She says she has a proposal to make. Viktor immediately scanned his memories and he did not find any cameo of the Black Widow in the TVDTO and wondered what was going on, as he knew Scarlett Johansson has a blonde hair, not red. So he stood and went out with Malia to see the rest of his family and the others looking at the supposed Scarlett Johansson. Sage. Well, since you are all here, let me introduce myself. I am Sage, an earthly guardian, and things are about to hit shit. Viktor, hearing that name, remembered someone also named Sage from the books and wondered if the Sage in front of him got gender bent. Chapter 52, Rhiannon versus the original family Sage. Well, since you are all here, let me introduce myself. I am Sage, an earthly guardian, and things are about to hit shit. All the people present in the room just looked at the red-haired woman in front of them with curious eyes. Sage, I know this is all sudden, me barging into your home and dropping such a bomb to you, but you have to believe what I'm about to say. The blonde guardians are coming. They coming to eradicate you from the face of the mortal plane, as the leader of the blonde guardians sees you as a disease, a plague, an abomination that goes against the norm of nature, and she believes she has to stop you and cleanse the world of your filth. Sage told the Mikaelsons of their impending doom. Silence permeated the atmosphere as the original family absorbed what Sage just said. Finn, if what you are saying is true, then why are you telling us this? Should you not make sure you join your friend to make sure she succeed in her quest? So why give us that information? What is your endgame? Finn wondered after careful thinking, as he did not understand what she will gain from all of this. Sage, well, let's just say we have a common enemy and we would love to have you on our side. Elijah, when you said we, I presume you are not talking about us, so who is or who are the we in your words? Elijah asked Sage, as he must make sure to get every ounce of information from this red hair before he decides what he will do. Sage, my father and I, we want your help in ending the Guardians and the Celestial Court. That's why he gave me this, as a show of goodwill and hope to build a relationship with you, the old ones. Sage brought out a dagger and showed the original family. Cole, well, I don't know if you are mistaken about our identity, but we are not the old ones you are talking about. We go by the title, the originals, so maybe this is all a misunderstanding, but seeing that dagger with you, I will have to take back my word, Cole said after he saw Sage brought out one of the daggers his family wanted. Elijah, well, you have gotten my complete attention, but what I don't understand is why is your father and you trying to kill your own kind instead of sticking together? Sage, they robbed me of a mother's love, that's why I am hell-bent with taking them out. Sage answered Elijah with a rage-filled eye. Viktor, who is your father? Why did he let his wife die when he could have prevented it from happening? It does not make sense. Viktor asked Sage, as he was also hoping to know what really happened, as it was never mentioned in the books. Sage, I can't tell you that, but all I can say is that my father is the devil, Sage said, as she was not ready to divulge what really happened to her mother. Niklaus, I don't care about your family matter, what I do care about is when the blondie you were talking about is going to arrive. Niklaus said as he looked at Sage in her eyes. He has come to call New Orleans home after England, and he is not going to let anybody ruin it. Sage, she should be here any minute from now, as she has been planning this day for a century now and slowly amassing the blonde guardians under her secretly from the dark dimension, so expect her anytime soon. Viktor, What will happen if we kill your blondie friend coming for us? Sage. War. Viktor sighed as he did not expect something like this to happen. A war with the Guardians will likely spell doom on the world, which is something that he isn't going to allow. But he can't let anyone walk over him or his family, so he must get rid of her in a way that would deter the other Guardians from picking a fight with him or his family. Viktor. All right, we will take up your offer, but we will only fight back when the Guardians attack us. We will not be at your beck and call, as we are not your minions, and also since you could play your way with the Guardians, we can't trust you fully, so we will have to stick with us. If you want to report back to your father, then you will have to take either Cole or Freya, as they can be able to place their mark there for easy traveling. And lastly, the dagger. Viktor stated his terms with Sage as he stretched his hands for the dagger. Sage. I never intended to go back to the Guardians after this either, Sage said as she gave Viktor the dagger, who put it into his shadow space. Elijah. Since that's sorted, let's talk of what we should do with the incoming Ian. Boom. Elijah didn't finish his words when they heard a booming sound outside the abattoir. Henrik. Looks like they are already here. Time to stretch this old bones, Henrik said as he stretched his body and brought out a special blade made by Viktor for them. Michael. You were right, boy. I was deprived of my fun a century ago. I am not going to let this one pass me by. Michael also readied his blade as he got some blondies to kill. Freya. Nobody messes with my family and lives to tell another second. Freya's eyes glowed a blue light as her hands was engulfed in blue flames. Viktor, seeing his family preparing for the big fight, just sighed and also got ready. Viktor. Mother, go to the prison world and stay there for a while as we settle things here. Esther. But I can be of help here. I have gotten pretty good over the years. Viktor. I know, but you will not do anything much here as we already have everything covered here. So why don't you use this time and go have a talk with your sister? Viktor told Esther, as she will just be an onlooker and she won't be able to help them as it is not needed, so she should go have a talk with her sister instead. Esther did as her son said as she disappeared into the prison world. Viktor. All right, let's go. We have a guardian to kill. Malia with me. Malia. Finally, a fight rather than some boring magic class. Ketsia. You know I can hear you right. Malia immediately ran to her father's side as an attempt to hide from her mother. They got out of the abattoir to see different blonde ladies flying, and one of them, who appeared to be the leader, spoke. Rhiannon. Finally, the day you old ones will meet your end, and also you devil's spawn. Rhiannon said as she looked at Sage among the old ones. Cole. Seriously, what's with this old ones bullshit? We are the original family, for crying out loud. Cole said as he was getting tired of being referred to as an old one. Rhiannon. That should be the last of your concerns, as today you will be no more. Blonde Guardians. Attack and kill them all. Viktor looked at the approaching blonde Guardians as he turned to Malia. Viktor. Lesson number 1. Never underestimate your enemies, even if they are ants. Viktor said as he transformed into his bipedal form and roared. Ruah. Chapter 53. Rhiannon's vendetta against the original family. The city of New Orleans was littered with corpses of people, and the buildings was not to talk about as it was damaged beyond repair. Cole. I don't know why you hate us, but you will regret coming at us, Cole said as they surrounded Rhiannon from all sides while their protégés engaged with the other Guardians. Rhiannon. You are all filth, bastards, creatures that shouldn't exist, abominations that brought destruction and suffering everywhere you go, but you don't care. You all act ignorant of everything you did. Families were destroyed because of your existence while you live and fight for your family and always stick by your stupid family oath. Henrik. Hey, always and forever is what keeps our family together, so I won't let you call it stupid. Rhiannon. Well, you can all go to hell with it, Rhiannon said as she summoned lightning from the sky and engaged to the Mikaelsons and Sage. They traded blows with her, and logically she was overpowered as she was outnumbered, and even they weren't. She would still lose as she was battling beings with true immortality. Rhiannon. You traitor, this all your fault. I bet they would not have any use of you when they are dying with you. That's in their nature. That's what they did with her, and I will not rest until I take every last one of them with me. Rhiannon looked at the original family with hatred as she remembered what they did to her. She used all of her full power, which caused an overload in the surrounding area as space itself began to distort. Viktor. Move back. She is going for a big attack. Viktor said to his family and also their allies as he casted a defense barrier around them. Boomryanan. Diiiiiee. You bastards, Rhiannon shouted as she unleashed all her stored energy, destroying half of New Orleans with her ruins. That's what the current New Orleans was. Niklaus. No, everything is gone. Everything we built. The place we finally called home is gone. All because of that bitchy guardian. Niklaus said when he saw the destruction that was now upon New Orleans. He vamped speed and look for the remains of Rhiannon, which he found as she was in her last moment. Niklaus. Why are you after my family? Why do you care for the lives we took? They were never related to you in any way or form, and you also did the same with the people of this city. So why are you so hell-bent on killing us? Answer me before I rip the life out of you. Niklaus said as he bent down to the level of Rhiannon, who was on the ground. Rhiannon. What didn't you do? Your mother used her blood and created beings like you. She was used and casted away by your family, and that wasn't enough. You also killed her. And you asked why I did this. Well, I did it for her. My greatest regret is that I wasn't able to take you down with me. I have failed her, and I hope that one day karma will find you and make you pay for what you did to my tea. Rhiannon didn't finish what she was about to say as she breathed her last. Elijah. Who was she talking about? Elijah said as he held his brother up, who was still devastated at the destruction of a place he calls home. Finn. Do you know something that we don't know, Sage? Sage sighed as she remembered why Rhiannon was so hell-bent on ridding the world of the old ones, something they all forgot about since nobody cared about it, but Rhiannon did, since it was something she was punished for. Sage. Sigh. Rhiannon. She had a daughter born from a human, which was frowned upon by the other guardians. Henrik. Wait, why did they do that? I mean, you were also a child born from a human, so why was hers different? Henrik asked as it just doesn't make sense. Sage. Mine was different. I was conceived by a banished guardian, and they also killed my mother as a punishment, whereas she was still a member of the celestial court, so she received an even more severe punishment. Her daughter was stripped of her celestial heritage and was left to survive in the mortal plane, while Rhiannon was imprisoned and was unable to do anything for her child. Sage explained why hers and Rhiannon's case was different. Niklaus. I still don't understand how that got anything to do with us. Sage. You all knew her, loved her, played with her as children. Even one of your underlings bears a striking resemblance to her. As soon as Sage said that, Viktor instantly knew who she was talking about and looked at Katerina before looking back at Sage. Elijah. We don't have all the day to play mind games with you. As you can see, our city is destroyed, so can you quickly tell us who you are talking about? Sage. Her name was Tadia, your first love, the one whose blood your mother used to make you vampires. The one she wanted to use to seal Niklaus Werewolf's side. That's right. The daughter of Rhiannon is Tadia. Elijah was shaken when he heard that name. It has been a long time since he heard that name, but that does not mean he has forgotten about her. He remembered her every day and blamed himself for not looking for her when he was told by her aunt that she has left the settlement back then. Elijah. I know we used her blood, but we didn't kill her. She left her settlement of her own violation when she found out about what we did and what we were. Tadia didn't die by our hands. I know I did wrong by her, but I will never let anyone hurt her. Elijah said as he looked at Sage with conviction in his eyes. Sage, are you sure about that? Sage looked at Viktor. Elijah followed her line of sight and saw that she was looking at Viktor, and he had a very bad feeling swirling inside of him as he asked Viktor if he knew anything. Viktor. I was the one who killed Tadia. I'm sorry, brother. I thought it was the right thing to do at that time, and trust me, brother, I had no choice but to do that. Elijah. Why did you do that? You knew I loved her. You knew how much she meant to me. So why did you have to go that far? Elijah asked Viktor as his eyes turned red at the betrayal of his brother. Henrik. Calm down. This is not the right time to against each other. We can't linger around here anymore. Henrik said as he could hear the sounds of vehicles approaching New Orleans. Elijah. Stay out of this, Henrik. This between me and him. Elijah said as his true face appeared, wanting to rush at Viktor, but he collapsed as his neck was broken. Freya. I don't care what happened to make you kill her. But right now, let's leave. We can settle this elsewhere. Freya said as she carried Elijah after casting a sleeping spell on him, as just snapping his neck isn't enough. The Mikaelson family gathered around, including their members, but some were missing. Rebecca. Where is Marcel? Eric and Alex, why are they not here yet? Andre looked at Lexi and Rebecca as he did not know how to answer them, as he knew Rebecca still has feelings for Marcel and she still held hope to one day be together with him. Andre, I can't seem to find them, it's like they were gone. There were no trace of them anywhere. Lexi. What do you mean gone? How can they disappear just like that? They must be here somewhere, Lexi said as tears threatened to burst out of her eyes, but Stefan held her as he consoled her. Damon. It's like they got caught up with the last blasts that the blondie caused before her eventual death. They are gone, Damon said as he didn't know how he was going to console anyone. Rebecca held back her tears as she walked away. Finn. Today, we suffered a devastating blow, Victor. And it was all my fault, Victor said while he wondered how Tadia was even a child of a guardian and Rhiannon at that. Was it because in the books, Katerina should have been the child of Elizabeth, a principal guardian who also was the mother of Elena, making Katerina, Elena's sister, but that didn't happen as Katerina was already a vampire before the meager and Tadia took her place. Victor. Sigh, this doesn't make sense, but if I was still given the same choice back then, I would have still done the same rather than have Elijah kill her and live with that scar, Victor thought as he joined his family and left New Orleans. Meanwhile, Gah. A hand burst out of the craters of the ruined New Orleans. You are also here. Well, that makes the three of us left here, a dark tall man said as he held the hand of the man and brought him out of the piled up rocks, while another man was behind him who said, I guess we have New Orleans all to ourselves. Chapter 54. The Celestial Court. In the highest part of the dark dimension, the Celestial Court. Rhiannon is dead. She died while battling the Old Ones, or the one they themselves prefer, the original family, said a woman who was tall, her blonde hair pulled back in a neat bun, of golden flecked blue eyes, and with dressed in a simple navy suit. She is Mylea, a principal guardian and member of the Celestial Court. Should we avenge her? I mean, she is one of us, but she was the one that engaged in a battle with the original family after we warned her about it, said a beautiful woman with long, dark brown hair, green eyes, and stood at 5'5". She is Elizabeth Murrow. Idola. While we are on the topic, let's not forget about Sage. She betrayed us and sided with the Old Ones. She is partly responsible for Rhiannon's death. Suzer. Well, right from the time she was allowed entry into the Celestial Court, I knew she was going to be trouble. I mean, we did kill her mother. It will be weird if she doesn't seek revenge, and we also allowed her to keep in touch with him, the Fallen One. The Guardians gathered together to discuss the recent events with the death of Rhiannon at the hands of the Old Ones and Sage betrayal. Mylea. We cannot engage with the Old Ones now. They are too mysterious and strong. It's as if they have no weakness except for the daggers which only put them to sleep. Idola. And the magic casted from a Mikaelson, which are an extremely powerful witch. Apart from that, we are back to square one. Suzer. What about we forget about them altogether and move on? It's not like they are going around causing havoc, and they didn't kill Rhiannon per se. She self-destruct when she was at a dead end, as she could not defeat the Old Ones, or the original family as they are like to be called. Suzer said when she thought of the scene of them losing against the original family in her head, because she knew and they all knew that there is no way they can be able to defeat the Old Ones themselves. No, we can't. Rhiannon was one of our own. We can't just let her death be in vain. I believe if it were them that lost one of theirs, the entire dark dimension would have turned into bloody mess by now, so we have to do the same. A man with long black hair and a muscular build, he is the leader of the Celestial Court, twin of the Devil, the strongest principal guardian, and also the one who with the help of the Celestial Court defeated and evicted the Devil from the court. He is known as Uzziah. Mylea. We can't go to the mortal plane and cause a bloody scene there. We are beings made of light. We are the ones to protect them, but Rhiannon has already caused the destruction of a city filled with innocent people, and now, you want us to put the entirety of the mortal plane at risk by battling the Old Ones. How does that make us different from them? I say we look for other methods if you want revenge for Rhiannon. Not this way, Mylea said as she didn't like the way the discussion was heading. Uzziah. We are doing no such thing, but what I want to suggest we make us nothing but hypocrites, which is also unfair to Rhiannon. Idola. What is it you are talking about? Uzziah. I saw from one of the possible futures where something that is extremely deadly to the Old Ones, even if they can't die from it, it will be able to severely weaken them, and what I saw, or I should say, the being that can be able to weaken them, is an earthly guardian, so you know what I meant when I say it will be unfair to Rhiannon. All the guardians present were silent when they heard what Uzziah said. One had to know that there were 3 types of guardians. The principal guardians, which are the most powerful and were part of the celestial court. The earthly guardians, which are conceived only from a principal guardian and a human. And lastly, the normal guardians and also the lowest in ranks. Suzer. I see, and the only earthly guardian we have left is already with the original family. Also from your tone, you are suggesting that one of us present here should bear a child with a human, right? Uzziah nodded, as there was no other way for them to have an edge over the old ones, and doing so is unfair to Rhiannon, who went to take revenge for her daughter that they themselves cast away and stripped of her celestial heritage, which led to her death. Idola, this is insane. We cannot do such a thing to Rhiannon. You have to think of another way. Rhiannon deserves better than this, and until then, I'm out, Idola said as she stormed out of the meeting hall angrily. Uzziah didn't have any answer and just sat there, waited for the next outburst, but he didn't get anyone. Instead he got an approval. Elizabeth. I will do it. I will birth the child, and because of that I will be relinquishing my position as one of the celestial court, as that will be a befitting punishment for me. Don't you all think so? Elizabeth said, as if this is the only way for them to have an edge against the old ones or the original family or whatever they call themselves. Then she is going to go for it. She will do anything to make sure Rhiannon got the revenge she deserves. Uzziah. So be it. Elizabeth will bear the child, and when the child is of age, the child will be summoned and given a choice to join our ranks. Any objections? Nobody voiced out and just kept quiet, and as a result of this, Uzziah called the meeting to an end. Elsewhere, Niklaus. What is wrong with my brood tap? I can't seem to access it. Damn it, without this, I cannot get the status of either of those 3. This is troublesome. Cole. The entire system is going offline. It say it is going to some updating again. It will probably take a few years or so. Cole said as he too looked at his system after Niklaus complained about his. The original family had left New Orleans and currently in Chicago, where they decided to stay for a few years. Viktor knew that that system updating thing was a bullshit from God, as he even went as far as covering the presence of Eric, Alex and Marcel so that they can stay in New Orleans like in the series, and he did not want them to know from their system, so he just did that. Viktor. Well, let's see how things are going to turn out now. After a few weeks here, I will be taking a nap until the beginning of the Vampire Diaries plot, Viktor thought as he wondered about the future when he felt someone coming at an extremely fast speed and kicked him. Bomb MMCRAASSSSHHH. Viktor got up and saw angry Elijah looking at him with his true face out. Viktor. You don't want to do this, brother. Let's talk this out. Elijah. Oh, we are. This is me talking. Chapter 55. Prelude to a time skip. Farewell. Destroyed buildings, broken furnitures everywhere, 2 people at the center of it all. Viktor and Elijah was sent to the prison world because of the damage they would have caused outside. The 2 occupants of the prison world were just watching the 2 brothers battle it out with each other, as it has been long they saw any form of action other than themselves and the buildings of the prison world. Elijah. Now you can talk. I'm ready to listen to your explanation, Elijah said as he sat down beside Viktor after the latter allowed him to pour out all of his anger on him. Viktor. Sigh. I don't know where to even start from. It's been a long time. Elijah. Start from anywhere, Elijah said, not looking at Viktor. Viktor. You know Tadia was special. She was the doppelganger of Amara there, the first immortal, and as a result, her blood was a very important ingredient in turning us into vampires and also to seal Klaus and I werewolf sides, which at the time, so I had to take her out of the equation, but I did not know Mother had kept some of her blood away. If I had known, I would have spared her. Believe me, brother, of course that was a lie. He would have still killed her, as it is better for her to die by his hands rather than Elijah's, who would suffer for it and create a red door. Elijah. You could have taken her out of the settlement. You could have come up to different methods to take her out of the equation, but you choose to kill her. You have no excuse, brother. I can't look at your face right now. Elijah got up and walked away from Viktor. To grieve the woman whom he thought fled the settlement when she found out that he and his family had become monsters, but she was dead all those times. Viktor. Sigh. He is right though. I could have gone for a different method rather than killing her. I could have just compelled her to go to France at that time and wait there. Then none of this mess would have happened. And to trigger my werewolf genes, I would have just killed a random stranger somewhere else. Dahlia. Well, it is too late to regret now. I guess betrayal do run in the family. Nephew. Viktor looked at Amara and Tadia who came to his side. Viktor. Yeah, and you are here to advise me. Hey, I never took you for that type of person. No offense but, that's true. Tadia. None taken. I don't even see myself as one, but all I have to say, don't go down the same road Esther and I followed. It will not end well, that I'll tell you. Viktor nodded as he looked at Elijah's back. Amara. She is right, I have always admired the closeness of your family from the little time I spent outside, and seeing you both at each other's neck was a surprise. Viktor stood up and thanked the two women and wanted to leave the prison world but was stopped by Amara. Amara. Wait, while you are out there, can you help me pass a message to Ketsia? I would like to speak to her, thank you. Viktor disappeared after Amara said that and left the prison world. Back at Chicago, Viktor appeared in the living room to see the others present looking at him. Niklaus, are you back from your little rumble with Elijah? Niklaus asked Viktor as he handed him a glass of bourbon. Viktor, yeah, he is still a little bit upset but he will get over it soon. He is Elijah after all. Viktor said after he took a sip of the bourbon and continued. Viktor, this is the right time to say this. Actually, I will be daggering myself after Elijah comes back, and before you say anything. No, this is not me giving myself a punishment over what I did to Elijah. I have already thought about this before the truth came to light, so that's it. Anyone want to say anything? Viktor asked the rest of the family but did not get any reply, so he continued. Viktor, if you want to have a conversation with me during my nap, you know what to do. Viktor smiled as he said that before he looked at his creed members, Freya and Ketsia. Viktor, well, I will be giving you all a vacation when I am asleep. You all deserve it, and Lexi, we are sorry for your brother but you have to remain strong. I will see what I can do to help with the resurrection of your brother and the other two. Viktor looked at Lexi and said before he sent a telepathic message to Malia. Viktor, you know what to do, right? Don't let any of them go to New Orleans, especially Lexi, and you will have to give my blood to Malachi when the time is right. Take Princess, I love you 3000. Viktor smiled at her as tears poured out of her eyes as she vamped. Speed out of the room. Viktor. Hey, I'm sorry, I am leaving you all by yourself. I just want a little nap from all the craziness. Ya know, don't worry, I will keep in touch once in a while, and oh, before I forget, Amara wanted to have a talk with. Viktor said to Ketsia. Ketsia. Who said you are leaving whom behind? I'm joining you after I have my talk with Amara. I also want to escape the craziness, Ketsia said as she smiled at Viktor before she went into the prison world. Viktor called Sage personally and went outside. Outside. Viktor. Is there a way to revive Tadia? I'm asking this because she is a guardian or whatever you call yourselves, and I have never resurrected someone who is not on the other side, so I want your help with that. Viktor wanted to rectify his mistake to Elijah before he daggered himself. Sage. I'm sorry to say this but there is no way you would be able to do that. You see, we guardians are beings made of light. Well, for me partially a being of light due to my birth, so I cannot help you there. The only ones who could help you with what you are looking for is my father and his brother, whom are out of reach for now. Hearing that, Viktor sighed as he did not find a solution for Tadia, even forgetting the fact that Sage said something about the devil having a brother. Viktor. Sigh. I guess this is it. I will just have to bear his anger for a very long time. Sage. You are immortals. He have a pretty long time to get over her, and one day he will have someone to love again. Viktor. That he will, Viktor said as he remembered Haley before he walked away and returned to the living room. A few weeks later, all the Mikaelson gathered in a room where coffins with the initial M was imprinted on it. Niklaus. I would have loved to join you on your little nap but I still have the world to see, as new things pops out every time, Niklaus said as he wanted to lighten up the foul mood. Elijah walked forward as he looked at Viktor and stood beside him and a coffin. Elijah. We still have a lot to talk about. Perhaps we can catch while asleep. What do you say, brother? Viktor. I would love that, but you know a certain crazy witch would not like it. Viktor smiled as he looked at Elijah before looking at Ketsia. Elijah. I will give you your privacy when you need it. Viktor nodded as he told his farewell to the rest of his family before Freya took two daggers and daggered Elijah and Viktor, while Ketsia, who linked herself to Viktor, fell asleep as soon as Viktor desiccated completely. The family placed them inside the coffin and closed the door to the room. A few moments later, Malia held onto a blood vial that her father kept for her as she thought. Malia. Sigh. Now I have to keep an eye out for that psychopath called Kai. Well, I can have my fun with him a little since he likes having fun with others. Chapter 56 Prelude to the Plot. Malachi, May 9, 1994. Gemini Coven. Phasmatos infero asseri gratis, disasustos vom, mos projeta su te. Victimas veris. Phasmatos tribium, niha su exilum, disasustos vom, mos projeta su te. Levum, mina su te, disasustos vom, mos projeta su te. Phasmatos veris. Ephes motos tribium, mos pro tes unum. Victus ex mellum, phasmatos vanum. Mos projeta su te. A group of 6 people held hands together as they chanted a spell that caused a large storm and an inferno as well as inflicting pain to the surrounding people. The 6 people were the heretics Cole had turned back then. They are currently attacking the Gemini Coven together with Malia, who also came of Malachi Parker. Screams filled everywhere and smokes could be seen as the heretics didn't hold back and went full power on the Coven. Malia vamp. Speed as she searched for Josette and Malachi. She wanted to save Joe because of the 2 twins in Legacies and she was in a good mood, so she decided to do a good deed today. It didn't take long for her to see both Malachi and Joe together, who were also screaming in pain. She approached Joe first and cast a spell that relieved her of the magic effect if the heretics. Joe. Who are you? Why are you attacking our coven? We never offended you in any way, so why are you doing this? Joe asked as she readied herself for a clash with the stranger before her. Malia, hold your horse there, young lady. I'm not the one attacking you, and if I wanted to have a fight with you, you would have been dead by now, so feel relaxed, and also that's not the way to say thank you to someone who is saving your life. I'm just saying in case of next time when someone might save you, as your thanks means nothing to me. Now unto why I am truly here. Malia looked at the screaming Malachi and smiled as she also freed him. Malachi, who are you? You are brimming with so much magical power. It is intoxicating, Malachi said as he raised his hands towards Malia only to be kicked aside. Malia, what is wrong with you Parkers? One is ungrateful and the other one is a power-hungry psychopath, Malia said as she looked at Malachi, who was coughing up blood. Malachi, ha ha ha, I like you already. I can't wait to have you crying in pain while I siphon all those magic from you. Malachi had a maniac grin on his face as he said that. Malia, I knew this would happen, and to say I am thrilled to kick your ass would be an understatement, Malia said as to Malachi, but paused as she turned to look at Joe and told her to leave. Joe. I can't leave, not without my family, Joe said as she wanted to run away to go look for the rest of her family that survived the onslaught of Malachi, but Malia appeared before her. Malia, I did not intend to do this, but leave, Malia said as she compelled Joe to leave the premises. Joe complied as she left without any protest from her. Malachi, who are you really, to be able to compel a witch so easily? You are not our everyday vampire, are you? Malachi, seeing how Malia easily compelled his twin sister, asked. Malia, well, I would have loved to indulge you, but we still have some unfinished business to attend to, or have you forgotten? Malia said as she transformed into her partial coyote form and looked at Malachi, who was already having second thought to engage her in battle. Malachi, actually, forget what I said to you before. I was not thinking straight, that's all. Malia. Well, I am already in the mood, so your opinion doesn't count, Malia said as she lunged at Malachi and punched the living daylight out of him. Malia. Since you are going to die anyway, might as well torture you. Malachi. You are one hell of a psychopath, and that means a lot coming from me, but I still don't know why you are trying to kill me. But seeing as you have no intention to, then I won't bother to ask, Malachi said while trying to run away from Malia. Malia. Come on. You can't run away from me. It is inevitable, and I don't want to bore you with the details of why I am trying to kill you, but I just want to treat you with your specialty before killing you off, Malia said as she rushed at him again and caught him and continued. Malia. Now let the party begin, Malia said as she fed him her father's blood before proceeded to an hellish torture. A few hours of torturing. Malia sat down on a chair as the heretics walked into the room with a battered and bruised Joshua Parker, the current leader of the Gemini Coven. Joshua. Why are you targeting my coven? We have never wronged you anyway, so why cause so much destruction? Malia raised a brow at Joshua before she turned to look at the heretics. Malia. Why didn't you explain your reason for doing all this to him? That was the first thing you should have done, stating your reason for attacking the coven. How they threw you away because of your different magical nature, How they treated you like plagues, you know, stuffs like that. Well, it is too late now for an explanation, Malia said as she sighed at the heretics for not following a normal script. The heretics didn't answer and just left to finish up the rest of the coven members. It didn't take look for Malachi to wake up and saw the scene before with his bruised up father, which he now found appetizing. Malachi, what have you done to me? Malachi asked Malia as she was the one who did something to him. Malia, well, you are now a hybrid of two creatures, a heretic, and to complete your transition, we brought you dinner, Malia said as she pointed at Joshua, who has his eyes opened widely when he heard Malia's word. Joshua, no, 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 stay back, you don't want to do this, she is clearly manipulating you into doing this. I am your father, clearly, you are not going to kill me, right? Joshua said frighteningly as he did not want to die. Malachi, seeing his father pleading for his life, triggered his psychopath nature as he smiled at him. Malachi, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Keep on begging, it will make everything even more fun. Malia sighed at the bastard's psychopathic nature and told him to meet her outside when he was done before she walked away. She didn't even get that far away from the room when she heard screams coming from inside. Malia, sigh, that psychopath. A few moments later. Malachi, ha, that was fun. I wish you had come before I killed off the rest of my siblings. That would have been epic, Malachi said as he walked up to the others waiting for him while licking his bloody hands. Malia, whatever. Let's go. We are done here, and with your psychopathic nature, you might end being his favorite pal, Malia said as she thought of how her uncle, Niklaus, would love Malachi as they are similar. Malachi, before that, where are we actually going to, and how did the Gemini Coven offend you for you to eradicate them like that? Malia, don't ask me, ask them, and please, for the love of God, shut up, you can ask them later, Malia said as she opened a portal, a spell her father made which was similar to the Shadow Hunter warlocks used for movement. Malachi, wow, that's incredible, how did you? Malachi didn't finish his sentence before his neck was snapped by Malcolm, one of the heretics. Malcolm had blue eyes and short, dark brown hair. He had a tall stature and a slim build. Malcolm, you are welcome, my lady, Malia, Malcolm said to Malia with a smile. Malia, that was unnecessary, but thanks altogether, Malia said as she walked into the portal, and the others also followed, sweet with Bo, another heretic carrying Malachi. May 23, 2009. Wickery Bridge. A car can be seen driving through the bridge when it came to an abrupt stop as someone who was flying appeared before them and said, Idola, Elizabeth, it is time, hand her over, Idola said as she stretched forth her hands as if waiting for something. Elizabeth, who was in the car with her husband and daughter, was frightened and did not know what to do. She has come to love her peaceful life here with her husband and her two children, Elena and Meredith, and she did not want to subject her children to that cruel fate she lived. Elizabeth, I can't give her to you, Idola. Let's forget about the old ones and move on. Please, Elizabeth pleaded to Idola as she held her husband's hands for support and prayed that her daughter does not wake up from her slumber. Idola, I know this was bound to happen. The moment you gave up your powers and began to mingle with humans, you have started acting like them, so I will have to take the girl either by force or you hand her willingly. Your choice. John. Stay away from my family. We don't want any part in your games. John, the husband of Elizabeth and father to Elena and Meredith, said as he knew about everything from Elizabeth. Idola just waved her hands, instantly killing John as she viewed him to be a nuisance. Elizabeth. No, what have you done, Idola? Idola didn't answer and tried to walk to the backseat of the car to take Elena when Elizabeth held her back, to which Idola, who was already pissed off by the fact that Elizabeth was allowed to bore a human child while Rhiannon had to suffer because of it, accidentally used her strength, forgetting that Elizabeth was without her powers, pushed her away, which made her hit the girder of the bridge. Idola didn't mind that as she can be able to save her friend later, but for now, she has a mission at hand. She reached for the car door as she opened it, but she was flung away from the door by someone. I cannot let you continue whatever you were trying to do here. I know it isn't any of my business, but I was passing by and I happened to see you here. A guardian. I remembered you have a beef with us, but I never thought you would target humans also, and you were the good guys. Sigh. What an irony. But I have to stop you here, the man said as he looked at the angry guardian who was looking at him with eyes filled with hatred. Idola. What do you want, old one? Chapter 57. Prelude to the plot. The death of Elizabeth a few minutes before Idola attack. It feels good to be going back home. Don't you think, favorite niece? What favorite niece? I'm your only niece. Ha 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 ha. That's why you are my favorite niece. Two people were walking through the forest of Mystic Falls as they conversed together. They are Henrik and Malia Mikaelson. They were heading back to Mystic Falls as that's where all the Mikaelsons will be coming together after being separated for years. CRRAASSSHHH Henrik. What was that? Henrik paused when he heard that sound and decided to investigate as he vamped. Speed to the source of the noise. Meanwhile, Malia had an inkling to what was happening. If she remembered correctly, then today should be the day that Elena's parents died, but what made her a little surprised was that even when Stefan was not here to save since he is with her aunt in God knows where, she still was fortunate to have Henrik save her. Malia. What a protagonist halo, and I wonder how everything will turn out now since Stefan is with Aunt Freya and Damon finally got Katerina to be with him. So Elena has no Salvatore brothers to fight over her. Wait, don't tell me, Malia said when she came to a realization of how Stefan first saved Elena and had to come back to Mystic Falls to find out why Elena bears a resemblance to Katerina. Malia. Don't tell me, Uncle Henrik would fall for Elena or something like that. Malia decided to put it at the back of her mind as she also vamped. Speed to the scene to see how everything will turn out to be. Malia got to the scene and found out everything was different from what she remembered it to be and saw Henrik about to engage in a fight with a guardian and Elena's mother about to fall off the bridge. Malia. Well, things are about to get really messy. Present time. Idola. What do you want, old one? Henrik. Like I said, I can't let you harm them or whatever you were planning on doing to them, Henrik said as he brought out a sword as the guardian also had on with her. Henrik. It's been long since I had a sword fight, so please keep me entertained, Guardian, Henrik said as he attacked Idola, who also got defensive. Malia, seeing this, created a barrier around them and runes of silence which used to block any sound from going out the area. Then she went to who she presumed to be Elena's mother. Malia. Hey, need a hand there? Of course you need a hand, why was I even asking? Malia said as she stretched her hands to the woman who held it and got out of there. Malia, may I ask why that woman was after you? Elizabeth. As a long story, but you have to get my daughter out of here first, please, Elizabeth said as she ran to the car and still found out that her daughter was still asleep, which made her sigh in relief. Malia. I casted a sleeping spell on her when I came. I didn't want her to see any of these. Elizabeth. Thank you, I will explain everything to you later on, but please can I ask you a favor? Malia. What is it? Elizabeth. Make sure they never get my daughter. You are the only one who can protect her, old one. Malia frowned when she heard Elena's mother call her an old one. There are only a handful of people who calls her father and his siblings the old one, and that's the guardians and presumably the devil, Sage's father. Malia held the woman by her neck and demand to know who she is. Elizabeth. I'm Elizabeth Murrow Gilbert, a former guardian. I am no longer with them. I just want a happy life with my children and nothing more. But I know I can never be at peace now that I have offended them, and you are the only one who has happened to be here. Elizabeth explained herself to Malia. Malia. Well, you see here, former guardian, I ain't no babysitting any half guardian. Heck, I am not a babysitter, so find someone else to do that job for you or do it yourself, Malia said as she released Elizabeth and walked to look at how her uncle is handling the guardian. Idola. You bunch of busybodies, why are you meddling in other people's affairs? Idola got angry at Henrik as she slashed and parried Henrik's attacks. Henrik. You are good, but you see playtime is over. My favorite niece is getting a little angry, so goodbye. Henrik infused lightning on his sword and slashed at Idola only for Elizabeth to appear and took the hit. Elizabeth. Cough, cough, go Idola, leave, you won't make it if you continue to fight him. And please tell the others to forget about the old ones and move on. We are better than this. We are the light that should shine upon the old and not to be its destruction, and I'm sorry for going back on my word, but the times I spent here with my family made me to love that peace and the joy that comes with having a family, and I can't break that. Idola. I know I might sound selfish, but if I was given the same choice I would still choose this, as this is what I want. Elizabeth said as she bled there. She tapped into her celestial power for a small amount of time, which made her to be able to teleport in front of Idola and take the attack meant for her with her mortal life. Idola. You, why did you do that? Idola said as tears threatened to pour out of her eyes as she held Elizabeth's body. Elizabeth just smiled at Idola as her body started turning into light particles and began to dissipate with the wind. She looked at Henrik and said, "Elizabeth, please protect my children." She said just that 4 words before she fully touched Henrik as he put back his sword back into his shadow and looked at Elena, who was still sleeping in the car. Malia sighed as she saw this. She too was a little touched by the scene and how everything turned out. "Henrik, I guess it is time we have a little talk with you Guardians. We have to stop all these fighting. You've lost so many people on your side, and the longer this goes on the more you will continue to lose. So listen to your friend who sacrificed her life so that you may live, and let's end this," Henrik said to Idola as he walked towards the car and carried Elena. "Henrik, let's go, Malia," Henrik said as he vamped speed away from the scene. "Malia, you don't even know where she lives and you are acting like a cool guy," Malia said as she also joined him, leaving the grieving Idola by herself. 1 year later, a very beautiful and attractive young woman with an oval face, light olive complexion, almond-shaped brown eyes, which is also sometimes described as doe eyes, and long dark brown hair. Her height is 5 feet 6 inches 168 centimeters, and she has a slim, slightly athletic physique, could be seen writing something on a book which might be her diary. After she was done writing, she got up and looked at a photo of her little sister and her parents on her bookshelf. She is Elena, the survivor of an accident which took the life of her parents last year, or so that they were made to believe. She was interrupted out of her thought when a girl with similar features like her came into the room. She is Margaret Gilbert, Elena's younger sister. "Margaret, hey, Uncle Grayson is waiting for us with Jeremy. Come on and stop your little daydreaming, Elena." "All right, let's go," Elena held her sister's hands and walked out of the door while thinking in her mind, "Elena, I must make sure to make it through today like I practiced." End of Volume 1, Chapter 58, A New Beginning. So Grams is telling me I'm psychic. Our ancestors were from Salem, witches and all that. I know, crazy, but she's going on and on about it and I'm like, put this woman in a home already. But I started thinking, I predicted Obama and I predicted Heath Ledger, and I still think Florida will break off and turn into a little resort island, a very beautiful and attractive young woman. She is rather exotic and has an ethereal beauty with an air of feminine mystery. Was talking to a not attentive Elena, who decided to join her to school since she also has her own car. She is Bonnie Bennett, a high schooler and a best friend to Elena. "Bonnie." Elena, back in the car. Bonnie, seeing Elena not paying attention to her, decided to call her out on it. "Elena, I did it again, didn't I?" "I'm sorry, Bonnie, you were telling me that." "Bonnie, that I'm psychic now," Bonnie told Elena once again. "Elena, right, okay, then predict something about me, Bonnie." "Sigh, I see." Bonnie didn't get to finish her sentence when a black bird flew and hit her windshield, which caused her to lose control of the wheel momentarily. "Bonnie, what was that?" "Oh, my God, Elena, are you okay?" Bonnie asked her as she remembered that it was also a car accident that led to her parents' death just a year ago, so she must be quite shocked right now. "Elena, it's okay, I'm fine, Bonnie. It was like a bird or something, it came out of nowhere." "Elena, really? I can't be freaked out by cars for the rest of my life." There was a brief moment of silence after Elena said that as they both stared at each other. "Bonnie, I predict that this year is going to be a kick ass, and I predict all the sad and dark times are over and you are going to be beyond happy," Bonnie said as she encouraged Elena, which put a smile on Elena's face, which also made her smile. After a while, Bonnie started the car and drive them to school. Mystic Falls High School. A large crowd gathered around the entrance of Mystic Falls High School as they meet up with their friends whom they had not seen during the holidays and catch up. 3 people walked amongst the crowd as they made their way towards the school entrance. "Finally, after years of waiting, I'm finally here, but what I don't get is why you are here, little Henrik." The 3 people were Viktor, who has been undergrad recently, and Malia and Henrik. "Henrik, you see, I am watching over someone. She is attending this school, so that's why I am here." "Viktor, so someone has finally brought life to your dead heart to the point of protecting them from the shadows. I wonder who this person could be." Viktor smiled as he said. "Malia, more like a bodyguard than a crush, and I don't understand why I'm even here in the first place." "Viktor, you should talk to your mother about that. She is the one who wanted you here." "Malia, I asked and she said, and I quote, "You need to make new friends your age and this school is the best place for you, so run along with your father and uncle. I mean, I'm old enough to be their grandmother and she is calling the kids here my age. Henrik. And you are still here, Malia. Yeah, that's because she gave me an ultimatum. Either I go to school or practice magic with her, so I chose the former." Viktor smiled as he heard that. He knew Malia didn't like all these witchy stuffs, that's why he taught her magic. Combat-oriented skills so that her magical ability will not go to waste. Viktor. All right, we are here, you two head inside while I go to the principal's office, okay? Viktor said as they got to the secretary office. Malia. Yeah, I will have to go through with this hell hole once again, Malia said as she made her way into the office and Henrik followed after exchanging some words with Viktor. Another part of the school. Bonnie. Major lack of male real estate. Look at the shower curtain on Kelly Beach, she looks a hot, can I say, tranny mess. Elena. No, that's over, Bonnie. Find a man and coin a phrase, it's a busy year. Bonnie and Elena were having a heated discussion as they made their way to their respective lookers. Elena. He hates me, Elena said as she looked behind her and saw a very handsome young man, who stands at approximately 6 feet tall with baby blue eyes and short dark blonde hair. He has an attractive face and can be considered as the stereotypical football player in regards to his personality and physical looks. He is Matt Donovan, her ex-boyfriend. She waved at him but he just looked at her and walked away. Bonnie. That's not hate, that's, you dumped me, but I'm too cool to show it, but secretly I'm listening to Air Supply's greatest hits. Elena. Oh, my God. A beautiful young woman with a pale complexion, blue-green eyes and medium-length blonde hair. She has a slim, yet due to her cheerleading, toned and athletic figure. She stands 5 feet 8. This is Caroline Forbes, also one of Elena's best friends. She ran and hugged Elena the moment she saw her. Caroline, how are you? Oh, it's good to see you, Caroline said as she released Elena from the hug and turned to Bonnie. AASND continued. Caroline, how is she? Is she good? Elena. Caroline, I'm right here and I'm fine, thank you, Caroline, really? Elena. Yes, much better, Caroline. Oh, you poor thing, Caroline said as she hugged Elena again. Elena. Okay, Caroline, okay, see you guys later. Bonnie. Okay, yeah, Elena, bye. No comment, I'm not gonna say anything, Elena said as she looked at the departing back of Caroline. Elena and Bonnie made their way towards their class only to stop again when they saw the backs of 2 people standing in the secretary's office, but she was more focused on the mail. Bonnie. Hold on, who's that? Elena. All I see is back. Bonnie. It's a hot back. I'm sensing Seattle and he plays the guitar, Bonnie said as it made Elena chuckle. Elena. You are really gonna run this psychic thing into the ground, huh? Bonnie. Pretty much. It didn't take long for the 2 figures to turn around as they made their way out of the secretary's office when they saw 2 girls looking at them. Malia, now what are you 2 looking at? Malia asked Elena and Bonnie as she has an idea as to who they were looking at. Elena. I'm sorry, Henrik. No problem, you see, my sister here is a little paranoid, so that's why she was like that, but you have nothing to apology for. I'm Henrik Mikaelson. Care to show us where the history class is, miss? Henrik said as he smiled at the 2 beauties in front of him. Bonnie Bennett, and my friend here is Elena Gilbert. Actually, we were on our to the history class ourselves, so why don't we go together? Bonnie said with a smile on her face. Henrik, that would be great and sorry for the inconvenience. Bonnie. No problem. Bonnie and Elena led the 2 Mikaelson to the history class as they were stared by everyone wherever they passed, including Caroline. They got to the history class not long after as they sat down and waited for their history teacher to come for the class to begin fully, which didn't take long as the teacher came in. Malia. That's convenient, Malia said as she saw who came inside with his devilish smile. Viktor. Hello class, I'm Viktor Mikaelson. I am your new history teacher and I hope we get along pretty well, Viktor said as he looked at everyone seated in the classroom, especially the casts of the TVD series. Viktor. With that out of the way, let's begin our class. Chapter 59. Helena, the school cafeteria. Bonnie. Don't tell me you are related to the history teacher. Malia. Yeah, we are, he is actually our uncle. Bonnie. You don't say. You know all you are so charming and, well, if you know what I mean, Henrik. Haha, yeah, I know what you mean, I've received compliments like that. Henrik, Elena, Bonnie and Malia went to the cafeteria for lunch. Elena, I have to say, your uncle is well versed in history, he talks as if he was there to witness it, it was so vivid. Malia, you have no idea how true that is, Malia said as everyone looked at her. Malia, oh, what I meant to say was, he watched every documentary and he also has this imaginary thing which helps him to create vivid images on what he reads, that's why when he speaks, it seems as if he was there when it happens, Malia explained to Elena and Bonnie before they sat down with their lunch. Elena, where were you before you came to Mystic Falls? Malia, is this an interrogation or what? Cause it feels like so, Malia said as she looked into Elena in her eyes. Elena, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry, I was just curious, that's all. Elena apologized for what she did and just kept quiet. Caroline, hey, why all the silence? It gives the vibes of a graveyard. Hi there, my name is Caroline. Caroline came to join them as she saw Henrik with them. Henrik, I'm Henrik, nice to meet you. Caroline, Caroline, nice to also meet you. Can I get your number? I would like to invite you to a party tomorrow. Bonnie, it's a back-to-school thing in Mystic Falls. Henrik looked at Elena and asked her if she is going go to the party also. Bonnie, of course, she will. Henrik, then I will make myself available and I want to ask, why does that guy keep looking over at our table? Henrik asked as he saw Matt as he keeps looking at them. Caroline, oh, that's Matt, Elena's ex-boyfriend, they broke up last year after Elena's. Elena, Caroline, that's enough. Elena stopped Caroline from saying anything any further. Malia, sigh, she is so talkative right now, makes me want to rip her tongue out, Malia thought as she remembered how Caroline was so talkative during the early stages of the series. Caroline, who might you be? Caroline asked as she finally paid attention to Malia. Malia, I thought you were ignoring me as I was not worth your time. Henrik, Malia, be chill, you don't have to always act like that. You know, Henrik said as he held her hand. Caroline, you are a fierce one, I will make sure not to offend you. Malia, that will be good for both of us. Margaret, hey, Elena, I see you are making new friends, care to introduce me to the handsome fellow there? Malia, and you are? Malia asked the newly arrived individual as she was not one of the cast of the series and not also a side character. She saw her with a handsome young man, standing at 6 feet tall. He has a well-built form and possesses dark brown hair and eyes to match, who she knew to be Jeremy. Elena, that's Margaret, my younger sister, and that's Jeremy, my cousin. Malia, well, that's new, Malia said as she went back to her lunch ignoring the stares on her. Reening. Henrik, I guess that's the end of our lunch break, and I'm Henrik by the way, Henrik said to Margaret before they left to their next class. A few hours later, Henrik, see you tomorrow then, Bonnie and Elena. Bye. Henrik said goodbye to the girls as they left for their homes. Viktor, you are getting pretty popular with the girls, little Henrik, don't go breaking their hearts when you have to choose among them, Viktor said as he came out of the school entrance. Viktor, so, which of them do you fancy, brother? Malia, she goes by the name Elena, but I have also seen the way he looked at that Bonnie girl. Viktor, oh, that was unexpected, well, just know you can either have one or none at all, so you have to choose one and forget the other before things get serious. That's my advice, and I will also advise you to go to Mystic Falls Cemetery, Viktor said as he and Malia left Henrik, who was in thought of what his brother said before making his way towards the graveyard. Viktor, so how did you find school life once again, princess? Malia, how should I say this? I find it annoying when bunch of teenagers keep staring at me as if I was some kind of meal or something, but all in all, I find it a little nostalgic as he reminded of the pack, especially when I was with the main characters. Malia narrated how her day went to her father. Viktor, you will get used to it, just give a few more weeks, and as for those teenagers, well, you could have fun with them tonight. Viktor smiled and said to Malia, who also smiled at what he said. Mystic Falls Cemetery. Elena could be seen sitting in front of her parents' grave as she was writing something on her diary. Elena, well, today went pretty well, and I also made new friends and they seem pretty nice, So Mom, Dad, I want you to know I'm living the life you would have wanted me to live if you were alive right now, Elena said as she stood up and wanted to leave when a strange crow flew and landed on her parents' grave and started making noise. Elena, seeing this, tried to chase the bird away, which was successful, or so she thought, as when she looked back, she saw the same crow and the entire cemetery became foggy. Elena, what's this? What's going on here? Is there anyone playing tricks here? Elena asked, but no one answered her, which made her further frightened as she ran out of the graveyard, which caused her to trip and fall. Henrik, hey, are you all right? Elena saw Henrik as he walked towards her. Elena, were you following me all these time? Henrik, no, I was just out here for the peace and quietness, when I happened to hear someone running, which brought me here. Is everything okay? Elena, yeah. It was just that everything was foggy in the cemetery, coupled with all the birds and all that, which might be making me also foggy. Henrik, your leg, you are bleeding, Henrik said as he perceived a faint scent of blood from Elena. Elena, it must have been from me falling just now, I did not even notice it, thanks, Henrik. No problem, mind if I help you with that? Elena, I'll appreciate. Henrik got down as he began helping Elena dressing her wound. Henrik, that's done. Can you go home alone? I don't know what's happening, but you are clearly on edge right now. Elena. No, I can manage. I don't want to inconvenience you any more than I should. Henrik. I insist, come on. I will walk you home, Henrik said as he smiled at Elena and stretched his hand to her. Elena, thank you, Elena said as she held his hands also. They left the cemetery together. Inside the cemetery, a man donning on a black suit with an aura of nobility stood there as he watched both Henrik and Elena leave the cemetery with a smile. He is Elijah Mikaelson, the noble one. Elijah, I guess it runs in the family, he said as he vamped speed out of the cemetery. Chapter 60 Reunion. Henrik, I saw what you did back there, brother. Elijah, I saw out looking for a meal when I happened to chance upon her. Another one who looked just like Tadia. So I was intrigued and wanted to have a little fun with her. Nothing personal. Henrik and Elijah were seated at the courtyard of their residence. Henrik, Tadia, when will you get over her, brother? It has been a long time since she died. Elijah, killed, that's what you should say, and I have already moved on from her. It's just that knowing there are 3 more people out there with the same face is just bringing back memories, you know, and I will tell you this from my experience, if you like the girl, make sure to do well by her, don't make the same mistake I made by not being there for Tadia, Elijah said to his brother as he looked to the sky. Henrik, thanks for the advice, brother. Elijah, no problem. Henrik and Elijah continue stargazing when they felt a familiar presence. Elijah, you sure took your time, brother and also sister, Elijah said as he felt another presence. Finn, what can I say? Freya held us up on our way back home. All those witchy stuffs, so how are you, brother? How was life in the coffin? Finn said as he also laid besides them. Freya, I didn't ask you to wait for me or anything, you know the way to Mystic Falls and yet you still decided to wait for me, so how is that my fault? Finn, you are our transportation, sister, it's easier if you teleported us here, Finn said to Freya, who stood beside a tree as she looked at her brothers. Henrik, it feels good to be together once again. Elijah, I wouldn't call it that, brother. Where are the others? Were they not with you? Freya. Nah, Mom and Dad went on a trip themselves. Niklaus and Malachi became best buds and decided to go have some little fun while Rebecca and Cole went their separate ways, so it might take a longer time for them to arrive. Elijah, and who is this Malachi person? Henrik. Someone Malia brought back after she went to destroy a coven. He is a real psychopath who caught the eyes of Niklaus. Viktor. I was the one who gave Malia my blood to give to him. I took a liking to him when I saw him in one of my vision, so I sent Malia to him before I went to sleep. Viktor explained as he also came to the courtyard alongside his wife, Ketsia, and daughter, Malia, and also Amara. Freya, it's been a long time, my friend, how was your rest? Ketsia. It was pleasant, Ketsia gave a simple reply as she hugged Freya, who hugged her back. Finn, I see you have already blended with the Arab brother. Viktor. What can I say? I'm a fast learner. Finn. We are all fast learners, brother, so what have you been up to? Viktor. Well, I became a teacher at the Mystic Falls High School and Henrik and Malia are also students there. You could join us if you want. Finn. Nah. I'll pass. I rather focus on something else. Viktor. Suit yourself. What about Sage? Why have I not seen her yet? Freya. Sage is taking care of some loose ends. She created an organization of supernatural creatures that hunts other supernatural creatures who break the code she set for them. Viktor nodded his head at that. Even he also had that idea for a while, but he discarded it as it will be time-consuming and stressful. Viktor. What is the name of this organization she created? Finn. She hasn't came up with a name yet. She has a lack of naming sense. Malia. I told her to name it Shield, but she said that she is going to take it into consideration. Malia said as she smiled, knowing that since her father is here, he will also show that name. Viktor. I think that name fits, since she created it with an intention to hide the supernatural world from the mundane world. Shield is an appropriate name for it. Viktor also agreed with Malia, not because of what he said earlier but because it was Sage who started the organization and she has the appearance of the Black Widow from the Avengers movies, so that was a good name for it. Freya. When she gets here you tell her that, and also can you help Finn here with her? He likes her but he is being, Finn, Freya said as she thought about how Finn looks at Sage from time to time, but never for once did he tell her how he feels about her. Viktor. Not a problem. I will make sure to say only good things. Viktor smiled as he said that. Elijah. Since that's past, can we talk about the other person in the room with us? Elijah said as he looked at Amara, who was also looking at all of them. Freya. Yeah, have you forgiven her, Ketsia? Ketsia. Yes, I have a family that I have always wanted, so I see no reason to hold on to a grudge of 2,000 years ago, and besides, she has promised to serve me for the rest of her immortal life. Ketsia smiled as she held Viktor's hand. Malia. Knowing you, mother, you have a failsafe against her. You still have trust issue, unless when it comes to dad. Ketsia. Hey, go to bed. The adults are talking. They all laughed at that before Viktor said. Viktor. Since you are going to have her around, you should do something about her face. We don't want her running into her doppelganger. Ketsia. About that? I thought Katerina had already seen her. So that's not going to be a problem. Ketsia said, but everyone just looked at her and she wondered why before it hits her. Ketsia. Don't tell me there's another one. Malia. There is. She goes by the name Elena. Uncle Henrik here has taken a liking to her. Malia told her mother what's up. Ketsia. Sigh. Then I will just use a transformation spell on her and I will be finding a way to get rid of that doppelganger effect. We don't want any more of that face around. Viktor. Actually, there is a way. We will have to kill her. That's the only way to get rid of the doppelganger effect. Ketsia. Which means I will have to create the cure again. Easy. I will just need a few days to get it ready, Ketsia said as she left the courtyard to get her ingredients ready. Viktor. You remembered my promise to you, right? Viktor said as he looked at Amara. Amara. Yes, I remembered. Viktor. Good. After she is done with the cure, we are going to kill you and bring you back as an immortal alongside your lover. You deserve some happiness. Amara. Thank you. Amara thanked Viktor as she also left the courtyard. Elijah. This family is so complicated after just a few years of napping. Viktor. That's who we are, brother. We are the Mikaelson. Chapter 61. Stupid Vampire Malia. This is what I love about coming to school, don't you think, Henrik? Henrik. I don't know. Why isn't she here yet? Malia. She will show up. Just be patient and have a little fun. Don't be such a killjoy. Henrik. Have fun with these kids. I doubt that. I am old enough for their ancestors to worship me as their god. When I was their age, I was killing a deer with your father and uncles, but now, they are frolicking and thinking about parties and boys, girls and getting laid. Even the school they claim to attend is a waste of time. They could find other things with that time to do. Malia. That's a lie. You were never their age, you died, remember? And when you were resurrected, you became like this. Now that I think about it, you skipped teenagehood into adult. That's cheating. Henrik. That's right. You know, being a 1,000-year-old vampire, I have some foggy memory. And also if you look at it from that angle, I even did things the Brats has never thought of. You know, I hunt animals while they sit at home and boss around their parents, and worst of, they will never achieve anything with that lifestyle. Malia. Lies again. From the stories I heard from Uncle Elijah, You siblings always have a perfect memory even before you turned. You are just saying all those to make yourself look cool again. Sigh, you will never let go of that life, would you? Henrik. What? All those things were true. Your Uncle Elijah is just demeaning me to look like an ideal uncle. Let me tell you a secret about him. Henrik and Malia were chatting and laughing as they watched how the kids were living their lives while waiting for Elena to arrive as they hid in the shadows. Henrik, and that's how the story ends. Malia. Ha 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 ha. You are funny, but, oh, they're here, Malia said as she saw Elena. Margaret, Bonnie and Jeremy arrived to the party. Malia, but why are you fixating on Elena? I know she is beautiful and all that, but you have been with more beauties that are more beautiful than her and yet you were not that obsessed with any of them like you were with her, and don't tell me you were honoring her mother's last word, because that's bullshit. Even though we Mikaelsons keep our word, there are other ways to do that, so why? Henrik looked at Malia and sighed as he didn't know how he was going to explain this to her. Malia, well, forget it. I won't pressure you to tell me anything. You can take your time, Malia said as she walked out of Henrik's shadow concealment range into the party. Henrik also cancelled it and joined her as they made their way towards the group of four, but someone got to Henrik first. Caroline. I thought you would not show up, but here you are. I was waiting for you for a long time. Caroline ran up to Henrik when she saw him and Malia arrive. Henrik turned to look at Malia for help but found out that she was already gone, leaving him alone with Caroline. Henrik. Hey, hello Caroline. You look wonderful this evening. Caroline. Oh, thank you. You are not looking bad yourself. Henrik just smiled at her and told her that he has to meet up with Malia before walking away, leaving Caroline dejected. Caroline. They all always do that. Even when I try my best to win them over to my side, it just doesn't work. But she does not even put any effort, but she gets everything I have ever wanted, Caroline said as she looked at Elena, who was all smiles, and Henrik, who was approaching her. Maybe you aren't trying enough, a voice said behind Caroline as she instinctively turned to see you sneaked up behind her and found an attractive young-looking man. Caroline, who are you? Ha, that's the first thing you do when someone sneak up on you like that. That's not a nice survival skill, is it? Caroline. Well, I don't know who you are, but what I do know is that we are in the middle of a party, and if you do not know what a party is, then let me tell you, a party is where a large group of people come together to have fun. So I'll ask again, who are you? The young man smiled at Caroline's brave attitude. I'm Vlad. I was just coming into Mystic Falls when I heard a noise in this direction and decided to check it out, but I could not help but notice you staring at the young lady over there. Is she an enemy of yours? Vlad, the young attractive man asks Caroline what's up with her and Elena. Caroline, no, that's my best friend. I have no beef with. I'm just a little jealous of how she always ends up with the good stuffs even when she is not putting any effort to get it. That's all, there is nothing wrong. Now if you would excuse me. Caroline left Vlad alone, who just chuckled at her antics. Vlad, she is one cute one, Vlad said before he turned to the party and began to look around as if he was looking for something or someone. Margaret, you know, I was kind of wondering, between the both of you, who is older? Margaret, the younger sister of Elena, asked both Henrik and Malia as she was curious about them. Henrik, that would be me. I am older than her with a minute. Bonnie. Wow, so you are twins. I never thought of that. I always wish I had a twin sibling. Malia. There is nothing good about it, but if you really want to have one, there is nothing magic cannot fix. Bonnie raised an eyebrow at Malia when she heard of the word magic, as that has been what she was hearing lately from her gramps. Bonnie. What do you know about magic? Is it real? Henrik. Of course not. She is just talking about a magic tricks my uncle used to teach us from time to time when he came around. There is no such thing as magic, Henrik immediately said to throw Bonnie off. Bonnie. Oh, for a second there, I was like, whoa, if magic is real, then vampires are also real. Malia. You have no idea how that would be true. I mean, we live in a world where anything might be possible. Elena. Yeah, but that is beyond possible. That only appear in movies and novels. Malia. Whatever you say. I'm gonna go get drunk somewhere. Malia walked away from the group as she made her way towards the bar. Margaret, aren't you going after her? Henrik. Nah, she will be fine. She has a high tolerance for alcohol. Margaret nodded after that and went to catch up with her friends while Bonnie decided to give Henrik and Elena some alone time. Henrik. Hey. Elena. Hey. They didn't even get enough time to have a decent conversation when they heard someone scream. Elena, what was that? Elena asked as she and the others ran to the source of the noise. Henrik, when I was about to have a conversation with her, a stupid vampire had to ruin it. Chapter 62 Elena meets the Mikaelsons. Caroline. I'm confused, are you a psychic or clairvoyant? Bonnie. Technically, Graham says I'm a witch, my ancestors were these really cool Salem witch chicks or something. Grams tried to explain it but she was looped on the liquor, so I kinda tuned out. Crazy family. Yes, witches, I don't think so. Caroline. Yeah, feel free to conjure up the number of that guy from last night. Bonnie. I didn't see him, you did. Why didn't you just talk to him? Caroline. We did talk for a bit, but I left him standing there all by himself. I don't know what came over me then. Malia. What are you two talking about? Caroline and Bonnie were walking through the hallway and having a conversation when Malia sneaked up behind them. Caroline. Geez, you scared me there. Why are you here? I thought you would be with Henrik like a lapdog or something. Caroline sad as every time you see Henrik, there is Malia. She did not understand why she is following him like a pet dog. Malia looked at Caroline and beamed a smile at her before she said. Malia. You shouldn't have said that. You might not know what will happen. Caroline and Bonnie felt chill when they looked at Malia's crazy smile. Bonnie. I think we are going off track here, can we all calm down? Bonnie said, trying to defuse the situation. Malia. I'm cool, she is the one who needs to grow up and I can help with that. Caroline. How are you going to do that? Malia, hearing Caroline's provocation, slowly walked up to her but she stopped when she sensed someone looking at their direction. She turned to see a young attractive man looking at her and the rest of the girls. Malia. Hey, what are you looking at? The other girls turned to look at who Malia was talking to. Caroline. Vlad, you are here, that's a surprise, I thought you were just passing through town. Vlad. I said I was coming into Mystic Falls, when I decided to stop by at the party, also a friend of yours. Vlad asks as he saw the way Malia was looking at him intensely like she is going to rip him apart. Caroline. Yeah, but we aren't that particularly close, so why are you here at the school? Vlad. Nothing, I was thinking of enrolling here, I kind of like the town. Caroline. Oh, that's nice, I would have liked to join you, but I have to go with my friends here, see you later. Vlad. Sure. Caroline happily waved at Vlad before going off with Bonnie and Malia to join the rest of their friends. Bonnie. You still didn't ask for his number. Caroline. Shit, I totally forgot again. Well, there is next time. Later that day, Matt and Elena were walking together as they talked about what happened last night to his sister. Matt. They are keeping her overnight, but she should be able to come home tomorrow. Elena. That's good news, Matt. Yeah. Elena. Did you get in touch with your mom? Matt. Called and left a message. She's in Virginia Beach with her boyfriend, so we'll see how long it will take her to come rushing home. Elena. Vicky's lucky that she's okay. Matt. I know, and now there's talk of some missing campers. Curious. Elena asked Matt what might have attacked his sister as she keeps getting news of people being attacked by some unknown animal or something. Matt. She said it was a vampire. Elena. What? Matt. Yeah, she wakes up last night, mutters, vampire, and pass out. Elena. Okay, that's weird. Matt. Think she was drunk, Matt said before looking around, and there he saw Henrik, the new popular kid, sitting by himself. So what's up with you and the new guy? Elena saw Henrik sitting all by himself immersed in the book he was reading. Elena. Matt, the last thing I wanna do is hurt you. Matt. You know, I'm actually gonna go back to the hospital. I wanna be there when Vicky wakes up, get the real story about last night. Elena. Okay. Matt left Elena as he made his way to the hospital while Elena wanted to go meet Henrik but found out he was gone. Elena, how does he do that? Elena said as Henrik appears and disappears whenever she wasn't paying attention. Elena decided to join the girls for the meantime. Bonnie, I was talking to Grams, she said the comet is a sign of impending doom. Last time it passed over Mystic Falls, there was lots of death, so much blood and carnage. It created a bed of paranormal activity. Malia. From what you are saying, I must say, Your grams is a bit crazy. No offense but, that's the truth. Bonnie. None taken. I mean, saying we are from a line of witches. That's going too far. Caroline. That's not what we should be talking about right now. We should be talking about Elena and Henrik. Caroline, who did not want to continue with all these witchy stuffs Bonnie always talks about, said. Malia, there's no need for that, she is here. Bonnie and Caroline turned to see Elena walking towards them. Caroline, so where is Henrik? Why are you alone? Did something happen? Malia. You ask a lot of questions all at once. You should give her a breather. Elena. I'm fine, it's just that Henrik just disappeared and I can't seem to find him anymore. Caroline. You can do that later. So, how far have you gone with Henrik? Are you in the kissing phase? Tell me. Bonnie. Caroline, that's going too far. Elena smiled as she sat down as Malia poured her a drink. Elena. Thanks. Caroline. Seeing as there is no answer from you, that means nothing had happened, which means your relationship hasn't progressed. Sigh. What's with the blockage? Jump on him. It's simple. Boy likes girl. Girl likes boy. Sex. Elena listened to what Caroline was saying and decided to confront Henrik and open up to him. Seeing Elena arranging her stuffs back and beginning to get up, Bonnie asks her where she was going. Elena. Caroline is right, it is easy. If I sit here long enough, I'll end up talking myself out of it, instead of doing what I started the day saying I was gonna do. Malia. Let's go. Malia. Go where? I don't have any plans with you. Elena. You're home, you dumbass. Malia. Have we gotten that close to be calling each other names? Malia asked, which made the others smile. Sighing, Malia stood up and she and Elena went to the Mikaelson home. A few minutes later, Malia. Home sweet home, Malia said as they finally arrived at the compound. Elena. Wow, it's huge. Malia. Well, technically, we are a large family, so that's why it's large. Come on, let's go in. Elena nodded as she followed Malia inside, and when she entered inside, what she saw amazed her. She saw the entire family members of the Mikaelson, or what she thought to be. Elijah. Malia, you didn't tell us you have a guest. Who is your friend? Elijah asked as he poured himself, Viktor and Finn a glass of wine. Viktor. I know, you are Elena Gilbert, right? Elena. Yes sir, I am. Viktor. Great, I've heard a lot about you from Henrik and Malia here. I have to thank you for being friends with the both of them, especially Malia, she tends to be a bit dramatic at times. Elena. No problem sir, they are lovely people themselves. Finn. I'm Finn, the father of Henrik and Malia. This is my older sister, Freya, and my two younger brothers, Elijah and Viktor, whom I believe you've already met. That's Ketsia, his wife. Finn, who now plays the role of father to both Henrik and Malia, introduced the rest of the family to Elena. Elena. Wow, where's your wife? I bet she would be lovely, as she was the one who gave birth to Henrik and Malia. Malia. She is dead, she died during childbirth. Ketsia, who was drinking coffee, immediately threw it out when she heard what Malia said. Ketsia. I'm sorry, I must have choked on something. Malia, why don't you join me to prepare something for your friend? Malia. She is fine. You are fine, right? Elena. Yes, I'm fine. I don't need anything. Actually, I came looking for Henrik. Isn't he home yet? Henrik. I'm here, Elena. I didn't expect to see you here. What brings you to my home? Freya. That can wait. Elena, why don't you stay for dinner? You can go view the comet from here. Finn. That would be really great. Don't refuse. It will be a way to get to know you better. Elena, seeing how all the family members were looking at her, finally relent and decided to stay with them. Ketsia. That's great. Malia, with me. Ketsia immediately grabbed the unsuspecting Malia as she made her way to the kitchen, while Malia was looking at her father with teary eyes. Chapter 63. Henrik and Vlad the Mikaelsons and Elena all seated round a table with lots of delicacies. Finn. So Elena, tell us a little about yourself. Elena. There is nothing to tell. I'm just an orphan living with my uncle and aunt with my sister. Just a simple pretty life. Elijah. Sorry, losing someone is never a good thing, especially when they mean a lot to you. You are a strong one. If it was someone else, they would have broken down a long time ago. Elena just smiled at that before she started eating what was served. Elena. Delicious, Freya. Thanks, I thought you would not like them. It's been long since Ketsia and I made anything. Elena. Oh, why's that? Ketsia. Well, guess the households don't appreciate our cooking. Malia. It's not that we don't appreciate, it's just that your cooking leaves a bland taste in our mouths. Malia smiled at her mother as she said that. She knew this was only the time she could use to get back at her mother for what she did to her earlier. Viktor. Malia. That's not how you speak to my wife. Viktor also flashed a smile at Malia. Seeing Viktor supporting her, Ketsia was happy inside her. Elena looked at how the family related to one another and she have to say, it is kind of weird. Henrik. We should make haste, hence we would be late for the comet. Elena. Malia. What about me? I'm also going. Henrik. You know the way. Besides, Aunt Ketsia would like to talk to you before you can be allowed to go watch the comet. Malia looked at her mother and saw the way she was looking at her. Malia. I'm full. I will be going ahead. Meet you there. Malia immediately stood up and ran to the door, leaving the others smiling at her. Henrik. All right, we should also get going. Come, Elena. Henrik said as he and Elena got up, while Elena thanked the family for the dinner and bid them farewell till next time. Ketsia. She is just like the amalgamation of all the doppelganger and Amara. Elijah. Yeah, I can see some traits of Tadia in her. Viktor. And she can be fierce like Katerina when the situation calls for it. Ketsia. Well, we don't want another doppelganger, so I am going to make the cure. Freya. I will join you. It's been a long time since I used my hands-on magical stuffs. Viktor. You do you. We are going to check the new vampires in town. They are causing mayhems everywhere. Elijah. More like exterminate them. We don't want the town folks to know that vampires are back in Mystic Falls. Finn. Go thing. Henrik took care of the girl from the hospital. If not, she would be screaming bloody vampires everywhere she goes. The Mikaelsons all disperse as they have different tasks to accomplish. Later that night, Henrik and Elena were walking hand in hand as Elena was all smiles. Elena. I never thought my life would turn out this way. You know, after the death of my parents, I shut myself, did not want to open myself to anyone anymore, but then you came along, and it has been the greatest thing that ever happened to me, Elena said as she held onto Henrik's hand more tightly with the intention of never letting go. Henrik just smiled as they watched the comet in the sky. Henrik. You are the greatest thing that has ever happened to me in a long time, and I promise to always be there for, Elena. Thanks. Elena and Henrik stared at each other and were so close to kissing each other when they heard someone walking towards their direction. Vlad. I'm sorry to intrude. Actually, I'm a friend of Caroline and we are currently looking for someone named Vicky, so I decided to look around here. Have you seen her around? Vlad. The mysterious young man who came to Mystic Falls just a few days ago. Elena. No, Henrik and I will go look for her. How long has she been missing? Vlad. Not too long. I was with Caroline and the others when someone named Jeremy came looking for her. Apparently they have something going on together. Elena. Jeremy. Thank you. We'll get going now. Henrik followed Elena as he looked at Vlad and thought of ways to torture him for ruining such an important moment. Vlad. He is a vampire. He might be the one causing all the killings and disappearance of the locals. I must eliminate him before things gets out of hand, Vlad thought as he looked for Vicky, whom he assumed Henrik had hidden away to prevent the truth about his existence to come out. Henrik. There is something weird about that guy. I don't like him. Elena. I don't know, but I think he is nice. Let's just give him some time. Henrik. That bastard. He is not a human, neither a vampire or werewolf. He might be one of those creatures from that dark dimension. That's good, 'cause I will have to teach him a lesson a normal human would not be able to bear. Henrik paused when he heard the sound of screaming. He turned to Elena and told her to go meet up with the rest inside and she should stay close to Malia. He needs to check up on something. Elena. Okay, I'll be waiting for you. Be safe. Elena said before walking away while Henrik vamped speed away after he made sure Elena was gone. He arrived at the scene to see a vampire with the one they were looking for, Vicky, being held by her neck, and the vampire appeared to be enjoying it like a sadist. Henrik. Let go of her. Who are you? I must warn you to get lost as you don't want to end up in her place. The vampire said arrogantly and didn't even register Henrik as a vampire. Henrik. That's why I always avoid stupid talks and go straight to action, Henrik said as he disappeared from his position only to appear behind the vampire, who became scared silly and mistakenly released Vicky from his grips, causing her to fall, but Henrik caught her using her shadow. Henrik, you see, of all my years of existence, I never met a vampire so arrogant like you, but since today is a special day for me, I will have to give you a quick death. Also remember my name, the name of the one you end your life. I'm Henrik Mikaelson, Henrik said as he willed the shadow of the vampire and pierced his heart, killing him. Henrik didn't need to tell his name to the vampire before killing him, he decided to tell the little mouse following him around. At a dark corner, Vlad, thank God, I didn't attack him, if not that would be the end of me. I mean, he is from that family and one of the crazy ones, the ones we were told to avoid or possibly run away from. Henrik. Oh, that you can't do, so start telling me who you are, why you are here, or forget even seeing the next second, because you won't even see the next microseconds. Henrik, who had already altered Vicky's memories using his telepathy ability, appeared in front of Vlad while he was in his thoughts, and Henrik decided to read his mind. Vlad, who heard what Henrik said, didn't even waste any method and immediately answered. Vlad, I'm from S.H.I.E.L.D., I was here to take care of the recent killings, please don't kill me. Henrik. Oh, you from Sage's little organization, tell me, what list of crazy people am I on? Henrik asked because he heard something about one of the crazy people who should be avoided. Chapter 64. Helena, 260 years ago. A red-haired woman could be seen walking in hall filled with people lined up in a synchronized form. This woman was Sage. She is currently addressing her new staff in the official opening of her new organization, which she has no name for currently. Sage, you all know that the world of the supernatural should remain a secret to that of the mundane world. There should be no interaction between the two. Now, when I said no interactions, I didn't mean you should not mingle with them, but keep what you know about the supernatural world away from the mundane. Any violation of this rule will result to severe punishment, as it is your duty to prevent any supernatural being from doing so. Now, before we send you off to your first missions, there are certain people you need to stay clear of, Sage said as she pressed a button on a remote she held, and the names of the original appeared on a screen. Sage, these are the names of the original family. When I say original, I do not mean the progenitor of all species. They are just the progenitors of vampires, but they have witches amongst them and werewolves. They are the most dangerous forces of both the mortal plane and the dark dimension. Even I don't know of their full strength, but from what I have deduced, they are capable of destroying the entire mortal plane at their full strength. I'm telling you this because, anywhere you see any of them, do not engage, as that will only lead to your eventual death. Even they are killing anyone for fun, telling a human about the supernatural, leave them. You don't want to find out they will do to you. But to help you out, I will give you a list ranking from the most dangerous to least dangerous, not due to strength but because of their nature. Now etch this to your very skull. Sage pressed another button and a list appeared. On that list were the name of the original family and their first bloods. Viktor Mikaelson, extremely dangerous. Pray you never offend him in any way. Niklaus Mikaelson, extremely dangerous. If offended, run away or say you are with Sage, if your offense is not grave. Elijah Mikaelson, lives by a code. Don't touch his family, that's if you can in the first place. Cole Mikaelson, unpredictable. Avoid him if possible. Henrik Mikaelson, extremely dangerous. Rebecca Mikaelson, do not provoke. Malia Mikaelson, extremely dangerous. Don't even get close to her, as the slightest thing might render you headless. Freya Mikaelson, extremely dangerous. Unpredictable. Michael, flee, run away at first sight if offended, or if possibly, commit suicide and end your torture there. Ketsia Mikaelson, don't even look her in the eye. Finn Mikaelson, approachable, friendly, but do not cross the line with him. Esther Mikaelson, if offended, pray Michael is not there with her or any of the children. Then maybe you might be able to live after a few hours of torturing. Andrei Devereaux, dangerous. The guy is a bit crazy. Katerina Petrova, dangerous. Don't mess with her. Stefan Salvatore, extremely dangerous. He is a ripper and a dangerous one at that, but he has it in control. Damon Salvatore, sadistically dangerous. Don't get on his bad side. Malachi Parker, psychopath. He is very much crazy. The Heretics, bunch of sadistic vampire witches, etc. Sage, you've seen the list, but you are wondering what about their pictures. Well, that's difficult to provide since essentially, they are non-existent. Remember this, you will follow a code when you are in the field. and that's never to reveal the world of the supernatural to the mundane, as that is what you are trying to prevent. Now you are dismissed. They will be someone who will come to assign you missions on several occasions, as I will be too busy dealing with the big bosses you won't be able to fend off," Sage said as she walked out of the room. Present time Henrik. "So that's how it is. Freya did you dirty, by taking our photos out of existence. Well, you were in luck you meet me, but I cannot ignore the fact that you were even thinking of eliminating me, now can I?" Henrik smiled as he broke the spine of Vlad, who screamed, alerting Malia, who came in a flash. "Malia, what are you doing? Don't you know that when you are about to do something like this, you let me know so that I can be part of the fun?" Geez, Malia, who had no idea of what was happening and did not even want to know about it. All she knows was that she was going to take part in his torture. "Henrik, I was not going to do anything serious, just breaking his spine to teach him a lesson. Nothing major." Henrik smiled as he ruffled the now annoyed Malia before he looked at Vlad and was curious about something. "Henrik, Vlad, what do you say you are again?" Vlad, who was still in pain, mustered up strength and spoke. "Vlad, I'm a kitsune. Henrik, isn't that fox thing? Why don't you call yourselfers a werfox, rather than making all those jumble nonsense?" Malia. "Vlad, you are the new guy following Caroline everywhere. You know, when I first saw you, I was feeling this deadly glare directed at me. You were the one who did that, wasn't you?" Vlad cursed his luck for meeting the deadliest family in the world, but he couldn't do anything, so he could only nod his head. "Malia, you are already a reek, so I will be merciful, but the next time you do something like that again, you better run away from Mystic Falls," Malia said as she turned around and left. "Henrik, how long will it take you to heal?" Vlad. "Like an hour." Henrik. "Sigh, you have such a slow healing rate. Make sure you clean this place up when you are all healed up." Henrik also left Vlad and hastened his steps to catch up with Malia. Later that day, Matt. "Thanks man. Vicky said you were the one who helped her from being mugged earlier. I really appreciate it. I owe you one." Henrik. "No need, I couldn't sit back when a sister of my friend is in trouble, but I will hold you on that one." Henrik and Matt smiled at each other before shaking hands. Elena. "Hey, come out for a moment." Elena held Henrik and walked away from the rest of the group. Henrik. "So, why all the secrecy?" Elena. "Well, after the dinner with your family, then I wanted to go home and do what I always do, write in my diary like I have been doing since my mother gave me when I was 10, but then I realized that I'd just be writing the things I should be telling you." Henrik. "Something like what?" Elena. "I would write, 'Dear Diary, today I convinced myself that's okay to give up. Don't take risks, stick with the status quo, no drama, now is just not the time. But my reasons aren't reasons, they are excuses. All I'm doing is hiding from the truth, and the truth is I'm scared, Henrik. I'm scared that if I let myself be happy for even a moment, the world will just come crashing down, and I don't know if I can survive that." Henrik looked at Elena and held her hands. "Henrik, if the world do come crashing down on you, I would be there to hold it up for you. Even if the heavens and earth collide with you, I will stand with between the heavens and the earth. I will be your shield. Your enemies will be my enemies. Your burdens will be my burdens, because you are the one I would want to face all that with." Elena. Elena and Henrik looked into each other's eyes before slowly leaning for a kiss. Chapter 65. The Creed are back outside of Mystic Falls. 7 people could be seen walking in the night in the middle of the road. They are the members of Creed, the ones Viktor turned personally, and Tadia, who joined later on. They were making their way towards Mystic Falls as their maker and leader is back. "Malachi, you know, there are now better means of transportation, and also I can get us there even faster." Malachi, who did not like the idea of them walking to Mystic Falls, complained. "Andre, shut up, this is way fun, and besides, I heard from Malia that the only way to use that portal spell is when the caster has been to the place before the spell could be effective, or else the caster will get lost in the what did she call it again? Forget it, and from my knowledge, you've never been to Mystic Falls, so we can't have you cast that spell of yours." Andre, the leader of the Creed, after Viktor shut Kai up. Katerina, will the both of you just keep quiet? We are almost close to Mystic Falls. Kai, so just be a little patient, or I will have to make you, Katerina said as she had the thought of always snapping his neck anytime he is with them. Malachi, knowing what she meant by making him patient, went on the defense. "Malachi, that's if you can come close to me. That's how they bickered till they got into Mystic Falls. Stefan. We are here now, so where are we visiting first? Damon. Unless you want your witchy girlfriend to kick your ass, then you can visit anywhere else apart from the Mikaelson compound. Brother, Nadia. He is right. I still remember how terrifying she was back then, and besides, we need to meet up with Viktor. Lexi. Yeah, and I kind of miss Malia already. Stefan. And here I thought I was your only friend. Lexi. Come on. You are hardly any friend. Lexi and Stefan both shared a laugh as they and the others made their way to the Mikaelson compound. The Mikaelson all gathered in the living room as they talked about Henrik's recent breakthrough with a woman. Viktor. I never knew you would beat Niklaus, Finn and Cole in seeing a woman who would make your dead heart beat again. Congrats, Finn. Hey, why are you making that statement? I've had a lot of fair share with women over the years, brother. I'm not a novice when it comes to women. Viktor. Those are flings, they are nothing but to pass time. Elijah. That's not the time for your bickering. We are here to celebrate Henrik for finding a woman for himself, and we hope it lasts. We don't want a failed relationship, Elijah said as he brought out a wine and glasses for them to drink. Freya. I can help you anytime you are facing conflicts or have a fight with her. I can give a pretty damn advice than anyone seated here. Freya started another round back and forth talk between them. Elijah. Since we are on this subject, Malia, haven't anyone piqued your interest throughout the years? Ketsia and Viktor ears perked up and wanted to hear what Malia would say. Malia. I don't have time for that, and even if I want to look for someone, all I see is a bunch of hormonal teens that would do anything to get me to their bed. I can't deal with that right now. Viktor. That's good. Focus on your studies. Don't let yourself get distracted by boys. You are still young to think about anything relationship right now. Ketsia. Yes, your father is right and you also said it yourself, so don't listen to your uncle Elijah and focus on your studies. Everyone present raised a brow at the couple for their shamelessness. They didn't even have a shred of shame when saying something like that. They acted like Malia was a 14-year-old child while she is up to 300 years. Freya, are the both of you even serious right now? You have to let the girl have a normal, and if she does eventually find someone she fancies, you should at least give them a chance. Elijah. They are just joking, they no mean it. Now let not spoil the mood, we are here to celebrate, remember. Elijah once again remembered them of why they were actually gathered. And like that, they celebrated Henrik and Elena, who was here with them, until they felt the presence of 7 individuals coming to their home. They went outside and found them to be the Creed members. Viktor. You sure took your time, huh? Malachi. Bloody hell, they look so much alike. Malachi, who haven't seen Viktor since the day he was turned, was surprised to find out the uncanny resemblance between Viktor and Niklaus. Viktor, why are you surprised? Weren't you told we were twins? Didn't you tell him? Viktor asked Malachi, who was still staring at him before he asked the others. Malia, we did told him, but he was too crazy to register it, Malia said as she knocked on Malachi's head, bringing him back to reality. Viktor. Well, come on in. You don't want to stay out there forever, do you? They all got inside and chatted for a few hours before calling it a night. The next day Henrik and Malia got ready for school as they saw Lexi, Stefan and Malachi also getting ready to join them. Malia, what are you all doing? Lexi. Going to this thing you call school. Apparently we would like to see what they do there. I heard it is fun. Malia. Yeah, it will be fun with you around. Why didn't I think of this earlier? Over the years, Malia, Lexi, Malachi and Stefan had become best pals as they always do things together. Stefan, let's go. We don't want to be late for our first day. Katerina. Wait for me. Everyone was surprised when they heard the voice of Katerina and turned to see that she had also gotten ready herself to join them to school. Henrik. No, 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 no. You cannot go to school with that face. If you want to come with us, you will have to change your face. The newly arrived vampires and hybrids was surprised as to Katerina cannot join them with her face. Viktor. That's because there is a doppelganger in Mystic Falls High School. See you in school. Viktor, who was walking by, said to them before he got into his car and drove off. Malia, you've gotten your answer, so now change your appearance. Actually, I can give you images to choose from. Wait a minute. Malia vamp. Speed into the house and came back with 2 pieces of papers and showed Katerina so that she could pick from them. Henrik, who are they? Henrik asked as he has never seen those faces close to Malia before. Malia, oh, these faces are just something I drew when I was bored. The images on the paper were the pictures of Allison and Lydia from her Teen Wolf world. Katerina looked at them and chose the one of Lydia, then she shape-shifted into Lydia. Malia. Cool, and as for alias, you can go with Allison Argent. Katerina. Why can't I just go with my name? Malachi. That's because your name is old. Fashioned. Katerina. You bastard. Malachi just smiled at her. Stefan, I think you should go with Catherine Pierce. That'll suit you, Katerina. Thank you. It's still my name but modern. Malia just sighed and put the papers away before they all made their way to school. Chapter 66 Elena meets part of the Creed Mystic Falls High School. Malachi. You know, I never did enjoy this school things back in my days. Katerina. Catherine, we know. It was hell for you, being bullied by your coven members in school because they couldn't do it when you were at home due to your father being the coven leader. You've told us several times. Malachi. Have I? I don't recall doing so, but if you know, then you must have known how that turned out for them. Katerina, is that a threat? Malachi. I don't know, you can interpret it the way you like. Henrik. Alright, both of you should stop it now. You are not 16 anymore. Henrik said as he has had enough of Katerina and Henrik bickering over small matters. Malia. I know a very good way of shutting one of them up. Malia said as she made a snapping gesture. Malachi. Now, we could be civilized here. You don't want to do anything that would give out what we are, do we? Malachi started panicking when he heard Malia's suggestion. There are 12 people he was most afraid of and Henrik was among them. Henrik, actually, I can do it in a way that it would seem like you fainted. Henrik smiled as he wanted to use his telekinesis to snap Malachi's arms to teach him lessons when he saw Elena coming. Lexi, bloody hell, she's as an exact replica of Katerina. The only difference is you have a curly hair while she keeps a straight hair, and then she is like a low-class budget of you. That's just fascinating, don't you think? Lexi said to Katerina when she saw Elena walking towards them. Katerina, she is a doppelganger, what do you expect? Of course, she would look like me. Malachi. What she meant was, forget it. Malachi, who wanted to make an unnecessary comment, stopped when he saw the way Henrik looked at him. It didn't take a long time for Elena to get to them. Elena. Hey, Henrik. Hey, Malia. Hey, Henrik and Elena looked at Malia when she did that. Malia. What? I thought we were saying, hey, together. Elena. Hello to you to Malia. Henrik, are you going to introduce me to your friends over there? Elena looked at the others who also looked back at her. Henrik. These are my friends who just moved into town the last 2 days. This is Stefan Salvatore, he actually has a bit of history with Mystic Falls. This is Alexia Branson. Lexi. Lexi, for short, I have heard a lot about you, Elena. I hope we can get along. Elena smiled at the way Lexi was just polite to her. Henrik, ahem, I'm not done, Lexi. Sorry for that earlier. As I was saying, this is Catherine Pierce and that guy is Malachi Parker. He is a bit crazy sometimes. Elena laughed and welcomed the group to Mystic Falls High School. Not too far away from them, Matt and 2 other boys were throwing and catching ball to one another. One of the boys, who has tanned skin, short black hair and dark brown eyes. His height is between 5 feet 7 inches to 5 feet 9 inches and has a muscular and toned body. He is Tyler Lockwood, a best friend to Matt Donovan. Tyler, look. There is Elena and her new boyfriend. I know the hot-looking girl from before, but who the hell are the others? Are like a band of models, how can they be all good-looking? Tyler said when he saw Lexi, Malachi, Stefan and Katerina and how good-looking they were. Back to Elena and the others. Elena, are you free tonight? Henrik. Yes, why? Are you throwing a party or something? Elena. No, you see, Bonnie does not like you per se and you know, she is my best friend and I don't want our friendship to fall apart because of some stupid thing. So I was thinking of having dinner my place for you to get to know each other. What do you think? Elena explained why she was trying to have dinner later. Ever since Bonnie started talking stuff about her being a witch and all that, she has been acting weirdly and now she is saying that she has a bad feeling about Henrik and all that. Malia, care to say if that also extend to me? Elena. No, I guess she doesn't just like Henrik, but don't worry, All that will change when she comes to know you better. Henrik. Okay, but aren't your aunt and uncle going to be at home during that time? Elena. No, they won't. They are leaving town for a while and they won't be back until the end of this season, so we have the house for ourselves. Elena smiled as she held Henrik's hands. Malachi, can someone please show me the way out of here? Malachi, not wanting to continue watching this two-play lovey-dovey anymore, asked. Stefan, come on. Stefan wanted to tell Malachi to join him as they make their way towards the secretary's office when he saw a ball soaring through the air. If it was other time, he would not have mind, but the ball was flying towards Henrik. But there is nothing he can do now. He cannot use his vampire speed as people will see him, and he knew Henrik could handle himself, so he didn't care, but he pitied who did that. Henrik turned around and caught the ball in the nick of time before it could touch him. Henrik looked over and saw Matt and Tyler looking at him, which gave him the idea that one of them is the one behind him. Malachi, seeing this as an opportunity, went to Henrik and took the ball from him after persuading Henrik as he could use this way to find out who threw the ball at him. Malachi held the ball and made a manic smile before he whispered a spell on the ball and threw it. The ball flew all the way to Tyler, who caught the ball reflectively but not without staggering back due to the force. Tyler did not hold the ball for long as he felt severe pain in his hands, but he didn't scream out and just endured the pain like a man. Malachi, well, I got to say, he has quite a talent in that department. Elena. Wow, that was amazing. Why don't you both try out for the team? Elena was surprised when Henrik got the ball smoothly and Malachi throwing it, so she suggested if they could join the team. Lexi, actually, the three of them should. After all, it was Stefan that taught them most of the sports they know. Henrik. Please, I know sports when before Stefan was even born. It should be the other way round. Katerina. Yeah, we know. Can we go into the school? I mean, that's why we were here in the first place. All. Yeah, you are right. With that, they entered the school and went to their various classes for the day. Chapter 67 Dinner. Malia, Lexi, Malachi and Henrik were all on their way to Elena's house for the dinner she invited Henrik to. Henrik, why are you guys following me again? You know she is trying to get Bonnie and I closer, right? Lexi. Of course, we know. That's why we are joining you. You see, Elena doesn't know a thing about you, and from the looks of things, I don't think you would be telling her anytime. So let's us say a few good things about you, Lexi said as she put her hands around Henrik's shoulders. Malachi, and besides, I would like to meet this Bonnie girl. We might have something in common. Malia. Like not liking Henrik. Malachi. You said it, not me. I didn't say anything. They just smiled and continued on their way to Elena's house. A few minutes later, Henrik. We are here, now everyone, remember to behave yourselves when you are inside, okay? Malia. Yes, you've told us like a million times already, and can you stop treating us like a 6-year-old child? We are way older than your girlfriend. Henrik. When you stop acting like one, Henrik said as he went to the door and knocked. It didn't take long for someone to come to answer the door. Henrik. Hey, Margaret, we are friends of Elena. She is expecting us tonight. I don't know if you know that. Margaret, who was the one to answer the door, just looked at Henrik from his head to his toes. Margaret, she sure have a hood taste in dating boys. Yes, she told me about you and your stupid dinner tonight, but I thought you were the only one that was supposed to come. Why did you bring this crowd with you? Margaret said as she looked at Malia and the others behind Henrik. Margaret, actually, I wouldn't mind if you introduce me to your friend here, Margaret said when she saw Malachi. Malachi, if you are talking about me, then let me do the honor. I'm Malachi, Kai for short, and what do you go by? Lovely, Margaret. Margaret, but you can call me Maggie. Come in, Elena and Bonnie are waiting for you. The group entered inside the house, and saw Elena and Bonnie arranging the meals on the table. Elena, well, I see you brought the full house. Henrik. Believe me, this isn't even half of the full house. Lexi. We are here to help. So you must be Bonnie. I'm Lexi. Nice hair, by the way. Bonnie. Thank you. I saw you in school today. Didn't know you were a friend of Henrik. Lexi. Yeah. His uncle is like a benefactor of mine. Helped me through a pretty dark time. And since he was around my age, we got pretty close. Lexi explained while making her way towards the dining table. Malia. So Bonnie, what your witchy grandma up to? given you any hint on which number will make us hit the jackpot of the lottery? Bonnie. Sigh. Not you too, Malachi. So you are a witch, like a witch or something else. If you are a witch, I might be able to help with that. Bonnie looked at the new guy and wondered who he was. She also saw him in school when tried out for the football team. Bonnie, and you are? Malachi. Sigh. This is becoming frequent today. I'm Malachi. Bonnie. So Malachi, do you know anything about witchy stuffs? Malachi. Just read about them once in a while. You see, I am very intrigued by the occultic arts, so I delve into what I find about them, so I might know one or two about witches. Margaret. That sounds pretty great actually. One of the reasons to get to know you better. Margaret, who was still standing at the door, said. Elena. Margaret, upstairs. Why can't you be like Jeremy? Just for tonight please. Margaret. Okay. I will do as you say tonight, but just tonight, and you. We will meet in school tomorrow. Margaret went upstairs, not wanting giving Malachi a seductive smile. Lexi. Well, you just got yourself a fan. Kai. Bonnie. Make that too. Bonnie said after she pondered on what she heard from Malachi about witchy stuffs. With that, they had a very healthy conversation over dinner, and Elena trying to bring her best friend and her boyfriend. She actually succeeded, but not without the help of Lexi. Henrik. Thanks for having us over, and Bonnie. Thanks for giving me a chance. Bonnie. Well, I did it for my best friend, but you are not actually bad yourself. After that, Henrik and Elena left the group to have a more private conversation elsewhere. Malia. I am going to take a walk around the neighborhood. Malia also left Bonnie, Lexi and Kai together as she went to look for someone, a person who appeared only on one episode of the TV series but a mother of the main protagonist of another. She walked around for a while until she saw someone who was a very attractive woman in her late 20s with tanned white skin, warm brown eyes, and long, wavy curly brown hair. Malia looked at the woman and smiled. She was happy to see a familiar face after such a long time. The woman turned around too, seeing Malia looking at her, so she decided to meet the young lady and ask what's wrong with her. Hey, what's wrong? Did someone hurt you or anything? Why are you even staring at me like that? Malia. Sorry, it was just that you reminded me of someone, that's all. It's nothing serious. I'm Malia, by the way. The woman nodded her head after Malia explained herself. I'm Daphne. I live around here. Malia. Yeah, I can see that. It was nice meeting you. I have to go. Maybe if fate wills it, we would meet again someday, Malia said as she immediately left the area and went back to Elena's home. Hidden in the shadows, Viktor saw everything inside as he too was pondering what to do with this Daphne woman. He remembered that she was only in one episode of the series and she didn't even get enough screen time before she died by the hands of Logan Fell. If it was only that, he would have just ignored it, but it is not, because the character who played Daphne also played another character in another series, the Teen Wolf series, the mother of Scott McCall, Melissa McCall, and he knew Malia would not want her to die here, so he decided to turn her into werewolf. Chapter 68 Founders Ball. In dark corner of an alley, a man could be seen with the body of a dead person on the ground. This man is Viktor. He had heard of a recent sighting of vampires coming into Mystic Falls after they cleared up the previous vampires. Viktor. Who sent you? I won't ask again. I can get the answer from you, but if I did that myself, I will be using the most brutal method I love to use when getting my answers, so tell, who sent you the easy way or we will have to use the hard way, Viktor said as his claws came out. Seeing this, the vampire on the ground panicked and struggled to get up and make a run for it. Viktor, don't struggle, you should have known about me by now, so we should skip the part 1. Will introduce myself to scare you even further to make you tell me what I want, which you still haven't done. Now there are 2 things that will make you defy me even if you know I can kill you. 1. You are compelled not to tell me even if it cost your life, and 2. You owe the person who sent you your life even to the point of dying for the said person, so which one is it? Viktor smiled as he bent down to the level of the man who was scared silly by Viktor's deduction skill. Viktor, seeing as you are thinking straight and not like a mindless puppet, I will say the second one, so since you are so adamant enough to protect that person even at the expense of your life, let's not dilly-dally anymore, shall we? Viktor pierced his claws in the posterior cervical area, back of the neck, of the vampire, which made the vampire scream in pain as Viktor looked through his memories. Viktor, even you haven't seen the face of the bastard. He puts on a mask anytime he calls a meeting. What sly bastard, trying to act all mysterious, but it was still not a wasted effort as I still got most of his plans. Now for you, time for you to die. Viktor ripped the head for the vampire before burning it and walked out of the alley. The next day, Mystic Falls High School. Hey, did you hear? Mr. Tanner was found dead last night. I heard it was another animal attack. These animal attacks are becoming frequent in Mystic Falls. What are the sheriff department even doing about the case? We don't know, but I hope they do something about it really fast. Group of high school students gathered together as they talked about the animal attack on their teacher and coach, Mr. Tanner, last night, which led to his death. Jeremy, hey, have you seen Vicky? Margaret? Nah, I've not seen her. And why are you even asking me that? You should ask her brother or the new guy the first saw her with this morning. She was happily chatting with him. When I saw them, Margaret and Jeremy were on their way to their morning class when Jeremy started thinking about Vicky. Margaret, and I also want to ask, why are you so infatuated with that Vicky girl? There are so many girls out there, so why only her? If you ask me, I would tell you to let Tyler have her. They seem perfectly made for each other. Jeremy, you don't know Vicky like I so, okay. And stop acting like my mom. Margaret, when did I do that? Forget it. I will have a better chance making a stone listen to me than you, Margaret said as she hastened her pace, leaving Jeremy behind. Jeremy sighed as he also increased his pace. Another part of the school. Malia, why do your school like so many events? First it was welcome back to school or something, then something I don't know party, then we had the comet party, and now, you are telling us there is going to be an event you were organizing, and then what? After this, there is still going to be a Halloween party. Malia asked Caroline, who came to assign task to do on the day of the Sexy Stud event, a fundraiser event. Caroline, how do you know that? Jay was also going to organize a Halloween party. Because you guessed right, I am going to give you a part to play in organizing the party, but that's not what we are talking about here. The Sexy Stud event is a fundraiser event that will save lives. We can't let anything go wrong. That's why I need your help. Please, Henrik. The sexy what now? I thought it was a normal event. Why is there a sexy stud in the name? Caroline just kept quiet and flashed a smile at Henrik, who just sighed. Malachi, well, you guys can do your thing. As for me, I have other things to take care of, like my assignments. Malachi immediately bailed as he left them to God knows where. Lexi, we will help you. But tell that guy who told you to ask us never to do something like that again, or he will get what's coming for him, Lexi said as she looked at Vlad, who was behind Caroline all these time. Elena and Bonnie smiled when they saw how shaken Vlad was, not knowing that Vlad was truly afraid for his life. Elena, okay, we have to get to class now, and after that, I will have to look for a beautiful dress for tonight's Founders Ball, Elena said as she winked at Henrik and walked away with Caroline and Bonnie, followed by Vlad. Lexi, that's right, the Founders Ball. Have you thought who you are going to take as a date? If not, you could take me, please. Steven, how come you didn't ask me? I am also a member of the Founders family, remember, and I'm currently in a relationship with another member, so my slot is still free. The same goes for Henrik. Lexi, I already know that Kai has asked for the slot and Henrik will be taking Elena, so Elena gave Bonnie her slot, so only Malia is free, Lexi said as she stared at Malia, who nodded her head. Lexi, great, I have already picked what I am going to wear to the Founders Ball. With that, they all went to their respective classes. Later in the day, Viktor. These people never stopped to impress me. You know, during the early years of Mystic Falls, we were the ones hosting the Founders Ball, but now, the Lockwoods are the ones doing that, Viktor said as he and the rest of his siblings and their partner arrived at the Lockwoods residence. Elijah, I don't remember attending. Freya, you were too busy dealing with the affairs of New Orleans to come. Brother Finn, now is not the time for your bickering, we have a ball to attend. The siblings smiled as they walked into the house where everything was going on. Chapter 69, Founders Ball 2. Elizabeth and Viktor Lockwood's mansion. Viktor, hello, Miss Forbes, I'm Viktor Mikaelson, recently just moved back into town with my family. I did not have the proper time to say thank you for taking care of Mystic Falls and bringing peace back to the town after the recent animal attacks. Viktor walked up to a woman in a police uniform. She has a short blonde hair and carried an air of professionalism. She is Elizabeth Forbes, the current sheriff of Mystic Falls. Elizabeth, Thank you, Viktor, right. I've heard a lot about you from your brother Elijah. He said you were a teacher at the Mystic Falls High School, correct? Viktor. Yes, I used to take them on history, but after the recent death of Mr. Tanner, I will be taking over his class and his position as coach of the school football team. Elizabeth. Congrats, I bet it's a lot of work filling his shoes. Viktor. You don't say, it is a hell of a work, but I got to do what I need to. Bills aren't going to settle themselves, are they? Elizabeth gave out a small chuckle as Viktor said that. Viktor, since we are going to stay in this town, there is something that I could help you with. You see, I heard you are having vervain problems. Elizabeth looked her right and left side to see if anybody is looking at their direction, and after seeing that the coast is clear, she dragged Viktor away from the party. Elizabeth, how did you know about the vervain and what more do you know? Elizabeth asked as she didn't even care to ask how he knew they were having vervain problems. Viktor, of course, I would know all these. I am a Mikaelson, remember? My ancestors were also a founder of Mystic Falls. It will be a joke if I don't know about some of the secrets of the town. You see, I know about the vampires and how they are the ones causing the recent killings, which means they are back and you want everything you can find to protect the town from them, especially vervain. But let me tell you this, vervain isn't the only thing you should prepare, Viktor said while acting like a good citizen of Mystic Falls. Elizabeth, we know, that's why we have prepared wooden stakes and deputies who will handle situations pertaining vampires. The only problem is the shortage of vervain, as Zach is running short of them, so we would appreciate if you have a solution for that. Viktor. I do have a solution. Back when our ancestors founded Mystic Falls, my ancestor, Viktor Mikaelson, my namesake, had this dairy where he keeps records of his day-to-day life, and I happened to stumble on it just a few days ago, and guess what I found? Viktor said as he looked at Elizabeth, who has given him her full attention, which is what he wanted. Viktor, there is an underground cave or room, where he planted vervains and some other plants that deals with supernatural creatures. There is one I still remember, the wolfsbane. It is highly dangerous for Elizabeth. Werewolves, right. Viktor. That's right, so you also know about them, and here I thought you only knew about the existence of vampires only. Elizabeth. That's right. I only knew the existence of vampires and not werewolves, but from the name of the plant, I knew what its use was for. It is the bane of werewolves just as the vervain is for the vampires, Elizabeth said. This conversation with Viktor was an eye-opener for her. Ever since she was a kid and knew about vampires, she never thought there would be another creature other than them. Elizabeth, what else do you know? Viktor. Well, I know that not all vampires come out at night, as some of them walk amongst us even during the day. They have this lapis lazuli which is enchanted by a witch to help the vampires that it was enchanted for, to be able to walk under the sun like normal humans. It can be in the form of rings, amulets, necklace and many more. Viktor explained the secrets of vampires to Elizabeth without any regards of it backfiring to them, as they don't have any of the aforementioned weakness, and the ones they turned have had their weakness to sunlight nullified with magic, and they only have weakness of vervain, which is nothing major to them. Elizabeth, hold up. You mentioned something about witches. Are they like the witches from the TVs and novels, or are they something more? Viktor. Right, you don't know about witches either. Well, let's just say they are the same as the ones from the TVs and novels. I have never seen one personally, but from what was written in the journal, they could be more dangerous than the TVs and novels. Now do you get what we are dealing with? Elizabeth nodded, as she has now gotten a broader view into the world of supernatural. Elizabeth. Are there any werewolves and witches in Mystic Falls, and if they have any descendants left? Viktor. I don't know. Werewolves and witches are not like vampires that cannot procreate, so there is a high chance of that happening, but even if we do find them, you cannot try to take their lives because they are supernatural creatures. They are also living beings. In fact, even most of the vampires were turned against their will and had to live like that, but they might still have the heart of a human, so you should only get rid of the ones you know are really bad. You understand me, Sheriff? Elizabeth. Yes, I get what you are saying. I should treat them like how I would handle a human criminal. But I have to tell you, they are not humans. What if the time I used in reciting their supernatural rites, I would have gone for the kill, preventing them from escaping, and in the process protect their next victims? Viktor sighed at how she misunderstood what he meant earlier. Viktor. I didn't say you can't kill them. You can kill them. But you have to know that there are bad supernatural creatures and good ones. You shouldn't attack the ones that are trying to live their lives like normal humans just because they are vampires or werewolves, but the ones who live like savages, you can kill them. Elizabeth nodded at that and decided to invite Viktor to the council. Elizabeth, it's high time a Mikaelson returned to the council. We will be very pleased to have you join us, and with your insights, we would be able to make Mystic Falls safe again. Elizabeth stretched her hands for a shake which Viktor gladly accepted. Viktor, I am very honored. I will do everything within my power to make Mystic Falls safe for our young ones, Viktor said as Elizabeth had a few talks with him before going back to join the ball. Viktor, the work is done. Elena should have seen Cole, Freya and my name in the past attendances of the ball. I wonder how she will find out the truth of our existence now, Viktor said before he also went back to the ball. Chapter 70 Founders Ball 3. Andre and Jenna Ketsia. Where is Malia? I can't seem to find her anywhere. Lexi. She should be outside. She said something about ripping a guy's head off as he kept staring at her. Ketsia. Okay, thanks, but didn't need all those infos, Ketsia said to Lexi before walking out to look for Malia. Bonnie. Who is that? She had this familiar vibe around her, like I have met her before. Bonnie. That's Viktor's wife, and for you meeting her, I highly doubt that, but you said something about your ancestors being a witch from Salem, right? Bonnie. Yes, is she a witch or has ancestors that are also witches? Lexi. God, no, don't be absurd, she is not a witch, but I don't know about her ancestors, but I just wanted to say maybe your ancestors are related one way or another, Lexi said to Bonnie, who was the only one with her as the others had gone off with their dates. Bonnie. You know, what if what my granny says is true, that I am a witch? What is going to happen to my friendship with Elena and Caroline? I can't introduce them to that kind of life. Bonnie was conflicted whether to tell her friends that she is a witch because she already knows that she was really a witch. Lexi. If I were you, I wouldn't worry about that and tell them. They may freak out at first, but they will come around because that's what friends do. They are always there for you, so don't be afraid of telling them. It will be very bad when they find out the truth themselves. That's if you are truly a witch. Lexi gave Bonnie a friendly advice before chugging down the drink in her hands. Bonnie thanked her as she looked over where Elena and Henrik were dancing. Lexi. Say, are you really a witch? I promise I won't freak out. I might even help you out with some witchy stuffs even if I am not one myself. Lexi asked Bonnie, wanting to know if she has truly figured out that she is truly a witch and not some man-made tale her granny told her. Bonnie looked at Lexi wondering if she could trust her or not. She haven't known her for that long to tell her such a big secret, but something inside her tells her she could trust Lexi and maybe something good might come out of it. Bonnie, follow me, I have something to show you, Bonnie said as she stood up and left, followed by Lexi. Outside the Lockwood mansion, Malia was seated outside as she looked at through the walls where she could see a man with a tall stature and athletic build, wearing fine suits. He is Logan Fell, one of the council members and also the one who killed Daphne due to his lack of self-control as a vampire. She did not want that to happen, so she decided to kill him off and avert that fate. Ketsia. Sigh, what are you doing here all by yourself? Sigh. You are making that face your father makes when he is planning something, and I have to say, it was very tiring when he does that, Ketsia said when she saw Malia making the exact same face Viktor makes when he is cooking up something, and that does not end well for whoever made him for that. Malia. Nothing, it just that I think Andre has taken a liking to someone sitting at the bar. I just find it funny as Andre doesn't strike me as someone who would fall for a woman. Malia diverted the attention from Ketsia to Andre, who has now gave her a plan on how to get rid of Logan. Ketsia looked at Malia before shaking her head. Ketsia. Girl, I am a 2000 years old witch, and not just any witch but a powerful coyote witch hybrid, thanks to you and your father. So do you think I won't know when you are hiding something? Even your father couldn't hide anything from me, so who do you think you are? But I won't pester you, so do whatever you want to do, but make sure you do it efficiently. We don't want your father to go beastly on Mystic Falls again, do we? Malia. No, I promise it isn't anything major. In fact, I just want to kill a certain someone, but Andre might beat me to it, Malia said as she saw Andre approaching Logan and a woman beside him. A beautiful young woman in her mid to late 20s with a pale complexion, hazel eyes and medium-length blonde hair. Her height is 5 feet 6 inches, and she has a slim, slightly athletic physique. She is Jenna Simmers, the maternal aunt of Jeremy and now that of Elena and Margaret. She recently came back to Mystic Falls after the parents of Jeremy left for a business trip. She attended the founders' ball on the behest of Elena as she wanted Jenna to have a little fun, which she now regret to listen to as she saw her ex-boyfriend, Logan Fell, who would not stop pestering her. Jenna, I really rather you just left me alone. Logan. Come on, don't be like that. I'm sorry. I know I did wrong by you, but I'm trying to make it right. Just give me a chance. Andre. I don't like men that are so persistent. Makes you bring your value down as a man, and that's not good. So when a woman says she wants to be left alone, please let her be. I don't know your deal with her, but I really think you should leave. Andre, who has taken an interest on Jenna the moment she walked into the Lockwood mansion, which made him see when Logan started pestering Jenna, and he didn't like that, so he had to intervene and save a damsel in distress. Logan, and who might you be? A knight in shining armor. If so, please get lost. You don't want to mess with me. Andre laughed at the childish threat he got from Logan. Andre, you are a funny one. I can't remember the last time someone threatened me like this. You are the first person in a long time to do that. So for making me laugh, I will do you one favor. Leave her alone, or else you will not know what hit you, Andre said as he released a bit of his aura on Logan, which made him wet his pant, making him run away to save himself from any embarrassment. Andre. He is such a weak-willed human, but he sure has a way with his words. Hey, are you okay? I don't know if what I did was wrong, as it did not concern me, but I thought I could help as you were slightly uncomfortable with him around. Jenna, you saw all that? Andre nodded, as he indeed saw everything from the moment Jenna met with Logan and how uncomfortable she was with him around. Jenna, thanks, my name is Jenna. Nice to meet you, Andre. I'm Andre, and you are welcome. So about we have a drink? Andre said as they were at a bar and they haven't ordered a drink yet. Jenna. Sure. Andre and Jenna had a drink together as they spent the night getting to know each other, and they didn't even know when the ball was over until Elena came to get her aunt with Henrik. Andre. Hey, Kat, you came. I thought you would just stay at home. Andre said, which made Henrik cuss at him for not paying attention to some details and just spurt whatever came to his head. Elena and Jenna was a little confused at who was this cat Andre mistook Elena for. Andre. Oh, shit, I messed up. Chapter 71 Founders Ball 4. Last part. Andre. Hey, Kat, you came. I thought you would just stay at home. Catherine. I couldn't say no to Damon. He begged me to come with him, and I would look like the bad guy if I say no. Elena and Jenna both turned around and saw a beautiful, thin, and petite woman with very pale skin, green eyes, and long strawberry blonde hair. That is the appearance of Katrina, the appearance of Lydia Martin. Andre raised a brow at the stranger because he didn't know about Katerina's new appearance and persona before he looked carefully and found out that it was an illusion made by Henrik, which still left him confused as that wasn't the Katerina he knew. And why is the new girl who seemed to know Jenna have the same face as Katerina? Is she another doppelganger? Henrik. Hey, don't mess it up. You have already done some damage. So don't escalate it any further. And this is Katerina's new look, and she goes by the name Catherine now, and this Elena, she is a doppelganger. Andre. Geez, you should have told me this information a lot sooner. Well, if she suspect a thing, we could just compel her. There is no big deal there. Henrik. No, that's a no-go area. You won't compel her or do anything to her. If you do that, I will bury you 6 feet under the ground alive. You get it? Andre. Whoa. No threatening. I got it. You seem to like her so much, so I won't do anything of that sort. But what if she finds out what you are? What are you going to do then? Henrik. She won't need to find out, as I would be the one to tell her myself. Andre nodded before he looked at the illusion of Catherine. Andre. Kat, meet Jenna. Jenna, meet Kat. A friend of mine. She is quite troublesome at times, so bear with her. Jenna smiled as she stretched her hands to the fake cat for a handshake, who accepted. Jenna. I'm Jenna. I heard from Elena that she made some new friends recently, and you are one of them. I'm surprised you also know of Andre, though I just met him today, but he is kind of fun to be around with. Care to tell me some things about him? Catherine. Sure. Catherine and Jenna left the group as they went somewhere else to have a discussion, which Andre didn't take well, as he knew that Henrik was the one in control of the illusion. Andre. Why don't I come with you? I came tell you more about myself than any other person. After all, this is me we are talking about. Jenna. No, You can't be there when someone is talking about you. Don't worry, I will tell you everything she says if we get a chance to meet again. Jenna said as she left with Catherine. Andre. I am going to leave you two lovebirds to enjoy yourselves. I am going to check around to see if I could meet up with the others. Andre immediately left as she sneaked behind Jenna and the fake Catherine. Elena smiled when she saw what Andre was doing. Elena. He is sneaking up on them, isn't he? Henrik. No, he won't do that. He isn't going to ruin his chance with Jenna just because of his insecurities. This is the first time I've seen him take an interest to someone. Elena. You seem to know a lot of people and they keep showing up one after the other and it makes me feel like I don't even know you and I want to know you. I don't want to left in the dark all the time. I burden you with all of my problems and I want you to do the same. So tell me what I don't know about you, Henrik. Even if you have a bad past or painful, I want you to share it with me. Elena told Henrik while facing him, looking at him straight in the eyes. Henrik. I will tell you, but you are not ready for the truth right now. The truth will change your perspective of me and I don't want you to look at me like a stranger or someone you should be afraid of, Elena. But I promise to tell you everything you want to know in due time. I promise. Just give me some time, Henrik said as he placed a hand on her face and ran it through her hairs. Elena. I will wait, but I can't wait for too long. So whatever it is you are waiting for to tell me, you should sort it out very soon, Elena said as she kissed him on his lips before they separated and she left him there. The founder balls came to an end as everyone left to their respective homes. A week later everything has been peaceful for the town of Mystic Falls as there has been no animal attacks, or so they were told to believe. Sage has arrived in Mystic Falls during the week as she also brought most of her trusted personnel who stayed at the Salvatore boarding house and is their temporary base of operation. Lexi has been helping Bonnie with learning magic and some spells she got from Ketsia, who was willing to help her descendant who was kin to learn magical spells unlike her daughter who only loves fighting. She even wanted to appear to Bon and tell her about her history and how powerful she could become if she learned under her, but Viktor told her to hold on as he said, this is not the right time, which she finds frustrating. Andre and Jenna had gotten pretty close and will be going on date during the weekend. Logan kept pestering Henna, which made Andre pissed off and took him to a remote location and showed him his fangs as he knew about vampires and warned him to stay away from Jenna or else he will be his next victim. Andre compelled Logan not to tell anyone that he is a vampire before he left. Viktor and the rest of the siblings have been getting rid of the vampires coming into town as they have no good intentions rather than to cause chaos. Sage even took it upon herself to find out who was sending the vampires as she assigned missions related to it to your subordinates. Meanwhile Malia had been keeping an eye on Daffy from time to time, making sure she is safe. Elsewhere, those damn vampires, they can't even complete a simple mission. Such a waste of time. I will have to do this by myself. I will have to go there myself, but I must make sure to go in undetected. Who should I use as a distraction? Should use him or her? Or maybe the both of them. A man shrouded in shadow spoke as he looked at the two pictures on the wall. The photo of Vicky Donovan and Logan Fell. Chapter 72, where it all began. Mystic Falls High School. The Mystic Falls High School was crowded as they were holding a charity event there. Caroline, as usual, was the organizer of the whole event, assisted by Malia, who regretted it very much. Bonnie. I can't believe it. The spell you gave me last time was incredible. Even my granny said she has never seen something like this, which led her to the question I've also been trying to avoid. How did you get it? Don't get me wrong. She said that only a witch could have access to such a spell, and she is also curious to meet up with you, but I had to tell her off on that, but she is still adamant on how you got your hands on such a spell. Bonnie, who was excited about the new spell Lexi gave her over the weekend, and she had to ask for assistance from her granny as she could not do it herself. Lexi sighed as she has also been avoiding such a question from Bonnie, as Viktor told them not to disclose any information about them to anyone as of yet, as he is still taking care of the vampires coming into town and he did not want to be the center of attention when one of those busybodies, especially Caroline, who could not control her mouth for now, start telling her mother about them, which will have to make him do extra works which he didn't like. Lexi. I can't tell you for now, but I know it won't be long before you find out the truth. So be a little patient and continue working on your magic, and let me say this, I am not a witch if that's what you are thinking. I'm just a normal human being like you. No, like Elena there. And when are you going to tell her about your witch side? I mean, she is your best friend. I can't hide such stuff from my best friend. Bonnie. And does your best friend know that you are helping a witch grow stronger by giving her spells? Lexi. If you are talking about Stefan, Kai and Malia, then they do know and they promise they won't tell anyone about it. Bonnie. Does Henrik know? Lexi. Well, since Malia knows about it, then surely Henrik would know, and I promise you he won't say anything to Elena, as that is your secret to tell. Bonnie sighed at the number of people who know that she is a witch. Bonnie. Well, I guess I will have to tell her tonight, but you have to promise me something. Lexi. What is it? Bonnie. You would have to promise me that you will tell me where you are getting your spells from. Lexi pondered for a while, as that was not in her control because the original siblings are the one calling the shots here, not her. Lexi. I can't promise that, but I can tell you one thing. When Elena finds out, then you would definitely know the truth, but until then, just think of me as your spell supplier. Lexi said before she and Bonnie went back to back work. Mikaelson resident Viktor could be seen writing something in a book when he paused, as he had gotten an idea on what he has been working on for almost a century now, the resurrection of Tadia. Viktor. I can do that. Why didn't I think of something like this? Viktor said as he finally realized what he was missing. He could go back to the past using Sage's time travel ability, which to him, he won't really call it so, as they can only go back to the past with it and nothing else. The time travel ability has restrictions, as they cannot change some Nexus events, and funnily enough, everything related to them was a Nexus events, which means he could not save Tadia by saving her, but he could use soul magic to get her soul and recreate a body for her and Viola. She is back to life. Viktor. But first, I should ask Elijah if I should continue to it or just forget it altogether. Viktor said as he walked out of his room. You see his wife Ketsia handing Malachi a piece of paper. Viktor sighed as he knew what she was giving him. Viktor. So Malachi has also joined to cohorts in passing spells to your little prodigy, Bonnie. Ketsia. The girl has a potentials in magic and I won't let her waste it, not like someone. Viktor. Malia did not waste her potential to learn magic. She was not just the kind to chant spells and whatnot. She is a combatant. That's why Freya and I taught her the magic combat, which she also finds to be her preference. Ketsia. Whatever. I still stand by my word and I won't falter by anything you say. So do whatever you want to do and let me teach this girl personally with some help from Freya, of course. Viktor. Okay. You win. Where is Elijah? I have something to tell him. Ketsia. You can check the living room. He should be there with the rest. Ketsia said before turning to Malachi, who was silent throughout their conversation as he was slightly afraid of Viktor. She told him to pass the piece of paper to Lexi for her to give it to Bonnie. A few minutes later, Viktor. All the people I was expecting, especially you, Elijah. I have something to tell you and I don't know if you will be happy about it or not, but I can bring back Tadia with the help of Sage. That's if you are willing. Viktor cut to the chase without beating around the bush. Elijah didn't know what to say. He was caught off guard with what Viktor just told him. The possibility of Tadia coming back, but that was all for him to decide whether or not he should go ahead with it. Freya. Elijah. I think you should let him do it. That way, the guilt that you carried all these years can be resolved and you can be with the woman you love. Also make Viktor forgive himself for killing her in the first place. Finn. Freya is right. You should let him do it. Freya and Finn gave Elijah their thought on the matter, as they believed that was the best thing to do. Elijah pondered for a while before coming to a conclusion as he looked at Viktor. Elijah. You can go ahead and do it. Bring her back. Brother. Viktor nodded as he turned to look at Sage, who was curious as to his Viktor knew about her time-based abilities, as she never showed it to anyone, but she didn't dwell on that as she still have to tell them about something else. Sage. What you are trying to do is impossible, as the death of Tadia was a Nexus event, which means Tadia was bound to die that day by any means necessary, so Viktor killing her was only one of them. I'm sorry. If it were possible, Rhiannon should have been able to save her daughter a long time ago. The hope in Elijah's eyes faded as putting his head down, as there is naught they can do about Tadia. Viktor. I know that. That's why I have something else planned out. I can be able to capture her soul immediately after I killed her, and the me in the past is relatively weak compared to the me now, as I can easily escape his senses. All I want is just to go back to the moment I was about to kill her, and I will handle everything from there. Viktor said as Elijah raised his head once again as he saw hope once again. Sage. That can be done, so when are you going to do it? Viktor. Now. I'm free. I can do it now and it won't take much of my time. Viktor said as he looked at his siblings before he turned to Sage and held her hands as she took them back to where it all began. Chapter 73 Saving Tadia New World, 1001 Nick. Ah, brother, what's happening to me? Niklaus was screaming in pain while a lifeless body lay on the ground. His bones were breaking in an unnatural way and his eyes turned from the usual red to gold yellow. As Niklaus was screaming in pain, two people appeared behind him. One was identical to him but more sophisticated and the other one is a red hair. They are Viktor and Sage. Niklaus couldn't detect their presence because he was in pain and was not that familiar with his new vampire ability. Viktor immediately casted a spell that made them invisible to the naked eyes. Viktor then looked at the scene in front of him and sighed as he then looked at Sage, who wore an oblivious look as if she did not know why Viktor was looking at her. Viktor. I told to take us back to the moment I killed Tadia, not when Klaus had his first kill. Sage. It's not my fault. I don't usually use this ability often as it is very dangerous, so I couldn't exactly take us back to the exact moment in time. But this is also not bad. I mean, you are going to kill her in the next few hours, so we just have to wait around for a bit. Viktor just sighed and looked at the scene as he saw Elijah and their father come to see the screaming Niklaus and his transformation into a hybrid, which made Michael very angry as he found out that Niklaus and Viktor might not be his son. He stormed out of the place and went to look for Esther to demand an explanation from her, leaving Elijah and Niklaus, who watched the later transform into a werewolf and ran off in another direction. Viktor. Now, he is going on a killing spree and Tadia should have come out and see the monstrosity that were created from her blood and tried to run away, but Elijah saw her and chased after her only for to fall and cut herself. Then she had Elijah will have a little argument which will lead Elijah to discover that she is bleeding and he will lose control of himself and drink her dry, and then Mummy Dearest would have made Elijah forget that he was the one who killed her, thereby creating something he will later call the Red Door, where he will claim bad memories or his monstrous side of himself locked away. Sage. And why are you telling me this? Viktor looked at Sage and wondered how dumb she could be not to get what he was trying to tell. Viktor, how dumb can you be? What I'm trying to tell you is that I killed Tadia not just because I wanted to break my curse and trigger my werewolf gene. No, I killed Tadia because I did not want Elijah to hate himself for killing her and creating a monster of himself. Elijah will never be able to get over it for the rest of his life. This day would have marked the day he turned into a ruthless killer. Well, he is a ruthless killer even now, but he is still sane, unlike when he would have killed Tadia. Sage. So you were basically saying that the reason you killed Tadia was because you knew he will be the one to kill her himself, correct? Viktor. Yes, which would have scarred him for life. Sage. Okay, I get that, but what I don't get is how you knew what was going to happen. Viktor. Let's just say I used a spell to check the possible future after the death of Henrik. I did not want to be caught unaware again with the death of one of my family member, so I looked into the future. Viktor just told Sage what she wanted to know, even if it was a lie. Sage. So how did you prevent Tadia from finding out about Niklaus and Elijah? Viktor. Simple. I created a barrier that trapped her inside her home, preventing her from coming out. Sage. Isn't that risky? She did not know about the world of supernatural yet, and you doing that would have made her suspicious. Viktor. Why should care about that? She was going to die anyway. If anything, I should have been worried about her son, but I compelled him to leave so he didn't know about the death of his mother. Then the noble Elijah wanted to take care of the boy, but everything went south and we had to leave in a hurry. Sage. So you abandoned the boy. Viktor. I won't call it abandoning. He grew up to be a fine man. Didn't you see her descendants, Katerina and Elena? That's a testament that he survived. After Viktor said that, he and Sage went to the home of Tadia, who was trapped inside her home unable to come out. Sage. Now what? Viktor. We wait. I should be here in a few hours or less. Depends. I don't remember. It's been 1,000 years and I was not the one who messed up with the time traveling. Viktor said as he received a stare from Sage. Viktor and Sage sat down and waited for the past Viktor to make an appearance when they felt a gaze behind them. Viktor turned around to see Ayana looking directly at them, which made Viktor frown, as even if the spell he used was just a low-level cloaking spell, Ayana should not have been able to see them. Ayana, you are not from this era. How did you come here? What spell did you use? Can you teach me? I have some unfinished business. Iana said with glee in her eyes, which baffled Viktor as he knew Iana to be a serious person and nothing can put a smile on her face or make her change her stoic expression, which made Viktor know that this not the Iana that he knows. She is possessed by someone else, and he knew who that might, as she is the only strong enough to pull something like this to a powerful witch of this era without her knowing and be able to see the moment they came here and also see through his cloaking spell. His wife, Ketsia. Viktor sighed. Don't you have anything better to do than to peep at people everything? Love? Sage raised a brow at him before looking closely at Iana and saw that she was possessed by Ketsia. Sage. Well, the saying is true. A husband can tell who his wife is under any circumstances. Iana, or Ketsia, who was currently occupying Iana's body, was surprised when she heard that and looked at Viktor as if examining him. Iana, Ketsia, so my theory was correct. You are indeed from the future, and from what this young lady is saying, you and I might be in a relationship. Well, you do pass off as someone who could win my heart, but I bet you must have gone through hell to win my heart, Ketsia said with confidence, as she believed she is not someone to fall easily for any man given her past relationship and her trust issues. Sage. You are narcissistic as the story says. Iana, Ketsia, who are you anyway? Why are you here with my future husband and not me? Sage. And here comes the trust issues. Viktor, I have to say, you are one hell of a man to manage to be able to stay with her for that long. Viktor sighed as the two women ignored him and bickered back and forth. Viktor. Okay, both of you stop it, and you, love, go back to the other side and wait for me in this timeline to meet with. And you are not my wife. The future you is, since I can't make you forget, you will remember this day and might use it against me when I get back, like I was cheating by letting you call yourself my wife. What's that called again, Sage? Sage. Like you are cheating on her with herself. You both are certainly the most perfect couple. Iana, Ketsia, but first tell me, what type of spell is this? Viktor sighed and looked at Sage, who also sighed. Sage, it's not a spell, but one of my abilities, so you can't learn it. So if you would excuse us, we have something to do. Iana, Ketsia, looked at the house of Tadia and knew they were here for her, but she didn't know what it was that they need. Iana, Ketsia, what do you want with the doppelganger of Amara? Viktor. All right, love, go back now, Viktor said as he casted a spell that expelled Ketsia from Iana's body, who fainted. Sage. Well, you are going to hear an earful when we get back. Viktor. Nah, he is the one who is going to have an earful, not me, Viktor said as he saw himself walking towards the house of Tadia. Viktor. Well, it's time to get down to business. Chapter 74, Saving Tadia. To Tadia. What are you doing in my home and my bedroom? Future Viktor and Sage both got into the house and saw the past Viktor with Tadia having a conversation they all knew well. Viktor. And this is nothing personal, love, the past Viktor said as his true face appeared, which scared the living daylight out of Tadia, who wanted to run away but could not, as she was too slow when compared to the past Viktor, who rushed her and bit into her neck, draining her of her blood and threw her body to the ground before saying something about the Petrova doppelganger being troublesome. Immediately he said that, he fell to the ground and screamed as he felt his bones breaking and bending in an unnatural way. He was going through this process repeatedly until it was finally over, and he stood up and looked at the lifeless body of Tadia one more time before he left to save his brother. Sage. You are really something else, killing her and just leaving her body here. You are a heartless and brutal killer. Sage commented on how Viktor killed Tadia with no remorse despite them having a childhood history with her. Viktor. I never said I was a good guy, and if you think this is a brutal killing, then you have not seen a brutal murder, Viktor said while waiting for Tadia's soul to leave her body so that he can reap it like a grim reaper. Sage. So how are you going to do this? Viktor. It's just simple. When her soul leaves her body, I will just use the spell I prepared specially for it and make her go to the other side in a very special place where nobody can access and she won't be able to communicate with anyone, and when we GI back, I will just perform a simple resurrection spell and bam, Tadia is back. Viktor told Sage the process that he wanted to use to bring Tadia back from the dead. Sage, on the other hand, started to think of possibilities to use this in her favor. She could prevent the death of her mother, so that her father would forget about his revenge against the Celestial Court, and maybe in the process help save Rhiannon so as to make the Guardians docile, and then everyone is happy and there will be no conflict among the three factions. Viktor. Whatever you are thinking, I would advise you to give it up. I don't do charity, and I am not the Messiah that resurrect anybody just because someone asks me to. Seeing the way Sage zoomed out in her thoughts, Viktor had an idea of what she was thinking, like making him travel through time and prevent the death of the people closet to her. Sage. Come please, you can do it, it's just 2 people, my mother and Rhiannon, and this might even benefit you and your family as you will not have the Guardians coming after you, please think about it. I would have done it myself but I can't since it is a Nexus event, so I can't change it, like simply going back to that point in time and tell them that they are going to die that day, because no matter what I do they will always. Viktor. Die, because that's the day they are meant to die. Viktor finished the statement for Sage as he could see that she truly meant what she was saying, but even if he wants to help her, there is a problem. Viktor. You see, even if I want to help, I might be able to do it, as there is a tiny little problem, not with your mother. I can easily help your mother but I can't help Rhiannon. She is not human and I don't have what it takes currently to help Rhiannon. She is the problem. Sage didn't lose hope when she heard him, because he said something. He said, currently, meaning he has a way to save Rhiannon. Sage. No problem, you can take all the time you want, and since you are bringing back Tadia, Rhiannon would not hold any grudge against your family. In fact, you would come to love this Rhiannon, as she was vastly different from the rage and hatred-driven Rhiannon. She is lovable. Viktor. Oh please spare me the details, let's go back to why we are here. Viktor had to stop Sage because even he himself knew that Rhiannon wasn't bad in the books, as the reason she hated vampires in the books was because of Elena, who gave up her guardian status just to stay together with the Salvatore brothers, a vampire, which did not go well with her. Sage. How are you going to actually see her soul leaving her body? Sage asked Viktor, as she did not understand how he was going to see a soul without any aid. Viktor. Well, I would have needed a lot of things to actually create something capable of doing that, but since we are low on time, you tell me when the soul leaves the body. Sage was once again shocked to know that Viktor also knew about her ability to see souls of people. She wondered how many things he knows about her kind which he isn't letting out. Viktor. Stop staring at me, focus, her soul should be leaving her body very soon. Sage decided to put the matter in the back of her head and focus on what brought them here. Viktor and Sage wait for few minutes before Viktor saw Sage creating something akin to a barrier around Tadia's body. After she did that, the soul of Tadia was visible to him. Sage. Do whatever you have to do quickly, as I can't hold this barrier for long. Viktor immediately went to work, as he knew how taxing the abilities she was using could be. First was the time travel and now a soul-related ability. 2 fundamental concept. Viktor chanted the spell needed for putting a mortal's soul to the other side. The soul of Tadia glowed brightly before vanishing to the other side. Sage collapsed as she was out of breath for doing what she just did and had to rest for a while before she could take them back to home. Viktor. You did well, thank you. You can rest for as long as you want. We don't have to be in a rush. You deserve it. Viktor laid Sage on Tadia's bed before sealing the room to prevent anyone from going inside. After he did that, he went out of the house into the settlement to walk down through memory lanes. Chapter 75. Tadia is back. Mystic Falls High School, present time. Lexi. So when are you going to tell her? Henrik. Tell who what? Malia. Oh come on, don't play dumb. You know exactly who she is talking about and what she is talking about. Uncle Henrik. Malia and the others were on their way home after school after saying their goodbyes to Elena, Bonnie, Caroline and the others. Lexi asked Henrik this question because it has been almost a month now since Henrik and Elena started dating, and Henrik did not have any plan of telling her the truth, which will not bode well with either of them when she finds out on her own. Katerina. You better tell her quickly. I can't continue going to school with this face. Malia. Hey, what's wrong with the face? I will have to tell you that face you are wearing is one of the most beautiful and smartest person in my world. Kai. What world are you talking about? Malia, who realized that she has made a blunder when she said that, she quickly made an excuse and said that it is a fictional world she created and Lydia is one of her main characters in the book. Katerina. That's a fictional world and this is the real world. I doubt if this Lydia character can even win in a contest against that forehead Caroline. Malia. You will be surprised, Lexi. Alright, enough, let's not get sidetracked from our earlier discussion. Henrik. Lexi immediately called the group back to what they were talking about before they got distracted with that Lydia character. Bullshit. Henrik. Sigh, I don't know, and even if I want to, how am I going to start the conversation? Stefan. Easy. Let me show you your conversation will be like. Elena, I have something to tell you. Something that will change your perspective of life. Something that might make you have second thought of being with you. Then she would say, what are you talking about? Tell me. I promise nothing you are going to say will change the way I feel about you, Henrik. Then you would sigh and look her in the eyes before sighing once again before you would say, I am a vampire and a very old one at that. Then she would be like, oh. And short of words before telling you she needs time to really to think about what you just told her and depends on how long she is going to do that. Everyone was silent and stood still as they watched Stefan played Elena and Henrik when he was talking about how the conversation will be like when Henrik would be telling Elena about him being a vampire. Lexi, hey, come on, it won't be that bad. I'm sure she will get it. She won't freak out like the way Stefan made it to be, and she is a descendant of Katerina. She will handle the situation just like how Katerina did. Katerina. I will have to stop you there. Elena and I are vastly different and we have nothing in common, and I took the truth about vampires pretty well because I was already suspicious of them, and also I wanted to become one so that I can never be weak again to have something taken from me again. But Elena, she is different, and the worst of it all. Vampires are nothing but myths now, so she would take it as such. Henrik. Okay, that's it. All of you forget about this vampire thing for now and let's just focus on another thing. I will tell her when I feel like and when I'm ready. You understand? Henrik, seeing as there was no end to the matter, decided to end it before it gets out of hand, and besides he will have to see what his siblings will say before he would do anything of that sort. Malia. Fine, we will drop the matter, but if you don't tell her anything before this week runs out, then I will have to do it myself. Lying and secrets are what ruins a relationship, and I don't want that for you. Not when you truly have feelings for Elena. Malia said as she knew even if none of them tells Elena about them, she will eventually find out one day, and that day is not far off, and if she finds out herself, then there would be a friction in their relationship which will not be very good. Henrik didn't have anything to say because Malia was right and just nodded his head and focused on going home for now. Katerina. We should hurry up. We don't want to get wet. The weather is getting really bad. Katerina said as she saw the sky getting darker, which made the vampires vamp. Speed to their home. Mikaelson's compound. A few minutes ago, all the members of the Mikaelson household in Mystic Falls all gathered at the courtyard of the house where a ritual is about to be conducted. Viktor and Sage have arrived earlier and started making preparation for the resurrection of Tadia, who is still in the other side in a comatose state. Freya. Everything is ready, brother. You can begin. Freya together with Ketsia helped Viktor arranged everything needed for the ritual. After getting the go-ahead from Freya, Viktor began chanting the spell as the entire sky of Mystic Falls darkened. Fion en che en kanu. 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 The sound of lightning could be heard throughout Mystic Falls, making the residents a little fearful as this was something they have never seen before. Elsewhere, a middle-aged woman with almond brown eyes, cocoa brown skin, and curly long hair stood at the front of her door and saw the phenomenon in the sky and knew it was not a normal storm but due to someone casting an extremely powerful spell. I wonder who could be so daring to cast such a powerful spell in the open. Is this related to the vampires in town? If so, I don't think Mystic Falls will be safe again. The woman said and stood there for a while before going back inside where someone was waiting for her. Bonnie, Grandma, is there any problem? No dear, everything is all right. Is just someone casting a ridiculously powerful spell. Hearing what her grandma said, Bonnie looked outside the window and saw the after effect of casting a powerful spell and wondered when she would be so powerful to do something like that. Back at the Mikaelson compound, the body of Tadia, which Viktor decided to bring along because he can't bring her back without anything of hers, moved after Viktor finished the spell. Her eyes opened but her vision was blurry and she couldn't see the people around her. She was confused because she remembered vividly that Viktor killed her by draining the blood out of her, but here she was. Is this some kind of afterlife? But she was proven wrong when she held a very familiar voice, the voice of the man she loved and the brother of whom killed her, Elijah Mikaelson. Elijah. It worked, Viktor, it worked. Tadia, my love, how are you feeling? Elijah said as he appeared beside her and held her hands. Freya. Fool, take her inside. She is a little disoriented from being resurrected. Elijah did just as he was told and took Tadia inside the house. Viktor, I don't think Tadia came back as a human. Ketsia, what do you mean by that, love? Sage, he meant that she is like me now, an earthly guardian.
Another tale fades into the silence. But here, in the fantasy audiobook library, stories never sleep. Subscribe and return when your heart seeks adventure. We'll be waiting.